Futures back to basically flat here to start things off on a Monday morning, coming on the back of more all-time highs going out to end last week ahead of key inflation data coming up this week. Tomorrow we'll get CPI, Wednesday PPI. We could also get a Kevin Warsh confirmation as early as today, which will set things up. Friday is Powell's official last day, his term actually running out Friday the 15th. So we'll keep an eye on anything coming as far as the Fed is concerned. Meanwhile, no improvement as far as the Middle East is concerned. Trump rejecting the latest proposal from Iran and basically saying it's his terms or no terms, as we've been hearing over the past couple of weeks here. So oil moving around. I mean, back to the upside. We're chopping around a little bit back and forth. It is volatile to start things off this morning. More earnings today as well. Circle out this morning. Before the bell here, downside right now. The initial move actually, we're rebounding nicely, but was actually downside. Initial move was higher on the back of the number, but bouncing back to 120 right now for CRCL. We're through the majority of the big ones, obviously ahead of NVIDIA coming up in a week's time. We've heard from the rest. What a week it was for memory stocks. What a Friday it was for Micron. Here we are higher once again today. AMD higher once again today. This move just keeps going for these things.
Yeah, and Intel, Brendo.
Intel too,
looking, to take out some levels here. Big move for INTC. Good morning, guys. There's a lot to talk about, as you mentioned. Circle reporting this morning. The RAM names are strong. Joey was messaging me last night. He's like, Micron's dropping on Blue Ocean. Something's going on. I'm like, hey, what happened? I wake up this morning, it's up another few percent. So a lot to talk about. Lumentum as well, a name we've been giving you here for a while. Going to join the NASDAQ 100. That is a good look there as passive additions to some ETFs to track the NASDAQ. We'll keep an eye on that. And we could have some crypto legislation in focus this week. Let's see if, Congress can get it together.
Yeah.
Kind of move that along into, Palantir down here about 2%, even though they had a pretty good headline with the NHS. A little bit more profit taking you feel down too.
I was looking at some of these expectations that all the banks are throwing out for this number coming up tomorrow, the CPI print. Some of them are way outside the norm as far as higher than expected, typical. If this number does actually come out tomorrow morning, on a significant uptick, and then we also get, a Kevin Warsh confirmation either today or maybe tomorrow or Thursday even, ahead of Powell saying it's been fun on Friday. This market could be in for a little bit of a jolt, I think, on the back of that.
I agree. I think we're definitely going to see a pump up in that headline number. There's no questioning that, obviously. We know oil prices are markedly higher and food probably as well as the diesel definitely affects some of the prices there. What I don't know is, though, does the Fed make or take a position on the length of this war, and by extension of that, how long inflation remains elevated, right? Because that's going to factor into whether they start cutting or not. So it should be interesting to see some of their forecasts. I don't know if we're going to get any of that soon.
Here's oil taking out the highs right now. We're taking out the gap high, USO anyways. The initial move, as I mentioned, downside on the gap this morning, but here we are creeping back to the upside once again for oil specifically. Energy stocks really not doing a heck of a lot. XOM I saw early this morning was a little bit higher than most of them. Yeah, taking out the highs here as well on the back of pretty low volume. So, it's a headline-driven market. It's been a headline-driven market. Will continue to be, guys, on a Monday. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. It's always, we say it headline-driven, this, that. We got China at the end of midweek and the end of the week. So we'll see if some progress gets made there. For sure, Baba's going to report in the middle of the week. You got Moderna up because of this Hunt virus, confirmed case in the U.S., and they're working on a vaccine, so that's moving around. And my goodness, you look up and Intel just unabated to the quarterback. Although a little bit, I guess there's profit takers already this morning, but I guess that's supposed to be expected when you're up another 5%. These all-time highs just keep coming in faster and more furious. Friday was the Apple story with Intel that gave it that ridiculous round. But it's just been an absolute rocket. You pull this chart up, pull up Micron's chart, pull up SanDisk's chart. Just pick a chip name, and maybe except for NVIDIA. And this is what you're going to find. Just incredibly impressive and more volume here today. So, you know, that's got to be on the radar. Hope everybody had a fantastic Mother's Day yesterday. Ate some good food, hopefully had some brunch or do whatever you did. And, you know, just an awesome day and get right back on the wheel today and market all-time highs because that's what we do.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look like it's going to stop there. You got Lumentum being added. It's going to be a nice one there as well. So LIT, look at BNAI. I mean, here's another one here. Brand National going to the upside here, getting 2 more deals, $22 up to $27, and fading out just a little bit as well here today. So we'll look at some BNAIs. It's going to be an early leader here for a move up. There are a few other names that are starting to bump around as well. So we'll have to watch out for some of those. And on our watch list today comes ASPI up 7%. That's a good one. And then ESGO going upside there as well. So here's EasyGo Technologies, only 6 cents, but 340 million shares already. So another name to look at if you're looking at a penny name. The other one was ASPI. ASP, this was going higher too, only 270,000, but this name kicking a bit as well. Yeah, look, man, it's going to be another big day there. AMD is up big again. Like, you know, you shouldn't sell any of these names, it looks like, because they just keep on getting higher and higher and higher, up another 2.5%. Should be a great day. Bitcoin hovering around down here, 81 and change. We'll see if that one can get going a little bit as well. But yeah, it should be a good. Here's LITE. Let's just show that to you. As we talked about Lumentum there today, what is it, up 5% or so coming into this move? Dell was making some moves as well. Micron, yeah, there it is. Now it's up 5.5%. Into the NASDAQ 100, taking out CoStar. Okay, didn't even know what that was, but there's 950. We had Lumentum earnings last week, you know, downside a little bit, then it blasts up. Now you watch out for that $1,000 mark. And, you know, we looked at Micron, we looked at everything else. What about SanDisk right now? 1575. Unbelievable, the run that this name's had just in a couple weeks. We always never going to forget about just writing down a random number there of about $1,000 on SNDK, and there it goes back up to the upside here today. So yeah, it should be lots to trade with. I'm actually looking to short Intel. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but the very first thing I wrote down here today was Intel 134 short. It's coming back now. I don't think we worry too much about the pricing here in the pre-market. And what I wrote down was just, you know, it's a dangerous trade, obviously, to go short. I understand that. But let's just see what the pre-market has. There's a lot of story. Whenever there's like sort of a story dump about a stock, I feel like we have a few stories here about Intel today as we look here. Wall Street Journal, obviously we talked about that with Apple coming on Friday. A couple more interesting stories for SK Hynix collaborating on a new agreement with them. Price target raised from Bank of America to $96 from $56, so we're already way above that right now. So just wonder if we're getting a little excited here on Intel. The market's kind of agreeing right now, going back down. Right when we went on air, first of all, the NASDAQ was positive, now you're down. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there. Some of the big hyperscalers continue to make lows right now. So we'll see if that continues to make sense here today as Google pushes off of 400. But yeah, I don't know if it's right time to get your shopping list out yet, but you know, I think you know what's been winning. So if there is a big move down, we can get some of these ASTS Mobile.
Rocket Labs had that ridiculous run on Friday.
Yeah. So any pullbacks? Up, how much is it up today? Nothing.
No. Friday was up.
Friday was up big.
Today it's only up.
Still up. Okay.
I mean, it's barely up, but it was ridiculous. I don't want to say rocket ship, but I mean, it was a rocket ship on Friday. Like, there's no other way you can think about it. And then, of course, ASTS. These space names have been in play. You cannot ignore them. Oh, this week we're going to get some quantum reporting. We'll get D-Wave reports this week, so that'll put them in the radar. There's just a lot to look at. But going back to the chips for a second, NVIDIA was red before the market did a little bit of a pullback here. You were gapping down here with NVIDIA, and yeah, at the open, it was an absolute, like a lot of things at the open were just clean, you know, breakout on Friday and go ham. But this was already something which was just making a series of lower highs for the majority of the day, and a lot of sell resistance on NVIDIA, and then closing at 15 almost exactly, and we're now gapped underneath that. So even with a little bit of strength, the stock double topped here on the daily and showing that little head and shoulders-ish look with that 215 level. And with this, you don't have to worry about, hey, well, is it relatively? It was relatively weak already. And I get it. It finally made it back into that high. But yeah, something under the hood here hasn't been as great for NVIDIA as people look to other names, which is perfectly fine. That's what happens. You get rotation. You get other names going parabolic. But this had seemed like it was on its way the last couple of days to end the week. And this gap down might be proving a little bit otherwise.
NVIDIA, yeah.
Hamster saying Apple and new NVIDIA. Well, it was actually Alphabet that they passed. I don't know if they got retaken, but they were going back and forth with NVIDIA as the world's largest company. So it's between those two right now. I don't know if Apple's the new NVIDIA.
We have WDC coming in the summer. That should be a good start there. Apple, I was trying to find their PE 33 right now, which is pretty high for Apple. Google's PE right now 31, so that's pretty cheap there for Google. Meta's probably the cheapest. Meta at 22 right now, so that's cheap. Meta's going to be one of the cheapest ones. Amazon 32 right now. Intel's just kidding, doesn't even have one. So yeah, well, that's why sometimes it doesn't really matter about valuation too much. I did want to show you this one here. This is a name that I have. Yo, is that Randy? It is Randy. Yo, what's going on, man? Ooh, you got the croissant and the bananas. Okay. All right, okay. Check out this one, ARKQ. This is the Autonomous Tech and Robotics, Kathy Wood. And I'm in this name, so we'll talk about our own book here. But this looks like it's breaking out. I should show this to Michael Noss right now. This looks like we're taking out some levels right here on ARKQ. And I just looked at some of the holdings on this name. Whoa. Right here on Gemini. It's not going to, there it is. Nope, didn't work. But anyways, I was looking it up. Now it's all confused as I brought it over. But anyways, we'll get it over. It's KTOS, it's Palantir, it's Tesla. So there's some names in here that this is the robotics ETF that can get going. There are many different names that are involved. Hold on a second, if I just scroll down to this. I wanted to see what it was because I had Kratos, everything else. Well, yeah, this is just not, this is part of the problem sometimes with our large language models. How do I scroll down right to the bottom of this? Oh, there it is. Archer, AVAV. Yeah, here it is over here. See if I can bring this over one more time. There we go. Okay. So if we just sort of zoom in a little bit here, it's Tesla, it's KTOS, it's IRDM, Teradyne, UiPath. There's Archer in here. Deere is in here. Aero Environment. So there's a bunch of different names that are involved here with the ARKQ, and it's just trying to take out some highs. A lot of that has to do with Tesla. So I just thought that I was looking through some of the stuff here this morning and thinking about like some of the names that I had in that space when we saw Rocket Lab going as high as it was going. But look at this ARKQ right here. So the autonomous ETF looking to break out off of a nice little base there around 110. So we'll see. No volume here, anything early, but just something to have a quick look at. BNAI, just one more quick look there. See what that's doing. This is coming back in here. Brand Internationals signed 2 new deals. So I heard it in my ear roughly. I'm not sure. You know a name that I think is pretty beat up that we don't get enough credit for sometimes. Their dividend, there's a buyback as well. I was looking at this name, IBM. IBM is right at a decent spot right here as well to potentially get bought. I mean, I know that there's a software sort of jinx to this name right now that some of their technologies could get sort of swallowed up and, I guess, I don't want to say taken out, but with the coding and everything like that, how easy it's become. IBM's definitely something that's been watched out for, but don't forget about the quantum computing angle as well. Google has quantum computing, so does IBM. I think that might be one of the next sort of talks here, and that might be hurting a little bit of Bitcoin as well, the quantum computing angle. So let's just wait to see what winds up happening here with IBM. This is all the way back to November, of 24 levels. So there's not too many stocks that are like that are in the tech space. So watch out for Big Blue, I think, in the next little while. I think if I was to make maybe a pick moving forward, rotate into one, could be IBM. I think IBM has a good sort of bunch of tailwinds to happen here. And it's just been hit so hard.
Well, it's getting lumped in.
It's like I don't want to include it with CRM and all that kind of stuff.
It's getting beaten up way too badly. They have some legacy technology which can get threatened, I suppose, but I think it's getting lumped up a bit too badly with some of those software names. But you know what? The other place where we like to look for ideas is in the options market. And I see my man Joe is locked and loaded over there at the big screen.
Oh, good.
All right, guys, good morning. Let's take a look at some of the options activity from Friday's session. We're going to kick things off with Intel. Big news coming in on this name, guys, and a lot to talk about, specifically at this $110 strike price. We can see, guys, that the delta relatively high, but let's take a couple of steps back here and take a look at our open interest and our volume. Only 688 contracts open and closed on the session, but open interest sitting around 19,400. Key thing to note, this expiration cycle isn't until August 21st. So as I'm scrolling through all the expirations, this is where I've seen the most amount of activity. Now, our bid in the ask is going to be relatively expensive. We're looking at $3,100 on the ask and $3,000 on the bid. Now, as for the implied volatility, sitting around 89.1%. But what I really want us to focus on here is the specific contract itself. And I mean, in the span of a couple of weeks here, guys, you're getting 582% in appreciation on that specific contract alone. Moving forward, Micron also on the list, guys, $800. As Sharif mentioned earlier, I'm watching this thing as I'm doing the options activity for you guys. I see the numbers really start to fluctuate. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So we go in and we check Blue Ocean. We hit a high of $811 roughly on Blue Ocean last night, guys. We're going to be taking a look at that strike price. It's going to be expiring on the 15th. Open interest sitting around 4,500 contracts, but a lot of volume coming in on Friday, guys. 23,600 contracts opened and closed on Friday session. Now for the contract itself, crazy, 13 trading sessions, or sorry, 1 day. This is just from Thursday to Friday. You get 912% off of the lows in that specific contract. So talk about parabolic. Now, as for the implied volatility, sitting around 89.3%. Now, moving forward, looking at some of the most volume and the most contracts traded on Friday's session, this is incomplete. So, sorry, this is like the complete amount of volume traded. So the SPY, we had 9,420,000 contracts open and closed on Friday's session. And then also for the NASDAQ, 7 million. And then Tesla sitting in that third spot with 4.4 million contracts open and closed. At the $420 strike price, we have 22,600, but that's not the volume. That's complete throughout all of the strike prices. I'm referring to the volume once again, 4 million, 7 million, and 9 million. That's a lot of options contracts being traded, guys. Let's send it back to Neil and Sean.
I actually forgot about Tesla.
I forgot about Tesla too.
I was just talking about it with that ARKQ, and I was like, what the hell? It's $430? Like, that was a nice runner last week.
It's down too. It's kind of like, it's not the same as the NVIDIA chart. Just talking about Tesla. But it didn't really hold. I guess it held the break better than NVIDIA, but we end up back underneath some of that support. I was looking at Micron and that. I guess we were talking about Blue Ocean there in the aftermarket. So like it did crack the 8, but that turned into, like, look at the rejection of the 800 in the overnight market for Micron. So that kind of, it puts that level out there for sure. Because we're pretty strong relative to the overall market in the memory chip names. So I think that 800 level could come back into play for a bit of a test. Like we're sideways here and kind of uptrending in this chip name. So watch out for that 800. I think a lot of times we're like, well, what difference does it matter? Like Blue Ocean, the aftermarket, like it still provides you with these liquidity points where you can look to find key price levels. Like it's trading up there. And as we start to see more and more volume in those sessions, it's going to become a little bit more important to just have a quick little look at it. I think that's why we're looking at things like when we get those big volume spikes or big reversals off levels, big consolidations. You can find those, and we can chart them right here. Like any symbol I pull up, we can look at, like randomly, we were just talking about Tesla. I could pull up Tesla, and probably didn't do much of anything in the overnight market, but it's certainly a place where you want to look when it's in play. Actually, it did. I mean, overnight we had a drop in a lot of things, but it rejected that 430 level and was incredibly weak. Heck, I guess if you're a VWAP trader in Blue Ocean, you probably didn't do too poorly trading a little bit of Tesla. We got a super chat from JKL, the Bono report. Okay, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Okay, that's a good one. Looking to still enter a short Qs. Those Qs and MSTR Still waiting on. That's the thing about this market. It is pretty relentless here. I don't know. Maybe you've got yourself your double top JKL, but the trend has been pretty precipitous and pretty intense to the upside here for the Qs. We have not had one of those like wipe out like down days in quite some time.
Yeah.
You know, like that 1.5%, 2%. We're like, okay. You know, and not just that it goes down that much, it holds, and then close the low kind of situation. Like that's the kind of thing that we haven't seen in a minute. And you wonder, hey, we're due at some point because you don't go up forever. In a general sense, you go up forever, but you don't go straight up forever. Is a way to think about it.
No, it does seem like we may be a little obviously overextended with some of these names, needless to say. So I think that Q's trade, it looks right to me. It's just, I mean, the shorts have been looking like an overbought sort of situation for a couple weeks now. But we'll say best of luck over to JKI. Look, anything to say anything about it, he's sticking with sort of the guns there, right?
Exactly.
He's been talking about shorting the Bitcoins and shorting
the MSTR
the Qs in general.
The actual MSTR play from JKL. I'm pretty sure that those last week's highs are all still pretty much intact. Like right in here, like you started the week, this double top to 192, it never made a fresh high. Bitcoin never made any fresh highs. So at least in that regard, like the MSTR never really broke out for you. So when the market goes higher and something which is generally following it stops following it, then you just got to watch out. Because like that can mean a little bit of relative weakness. Just heard something about Novo here.
I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, they're gapped up a couple.
Acquired somebody?
I heard something about acquisition, but you know what? I feel like today, if you're looking at some kind of a healthcare name, Moderna might be the one.
Yeah, that hantavirus is going crazy.
Thing. And it's not that I actually don't think it's that big of a deal, but we have sort of seen. When you have these like panics, you'll see volume start to come in. Oh, this is not going to break the 60 anymore. Looks like this, and just as I said it, there's this down candle losing VWAP. What was interesting, the most interesting thing about Moderna was this double top break on the daily. But you know what? Breakouts don't have to happen. That can always happen next week, tomorrow, never. But the thing about a breakout trade is at least you know what it is that you're waiting for and looking for. But yeah, Moderna just caught a $2 seller to the downside. So we might have to wait even longer for a 60 break.
Yeah, that hantavirus. Yeah, someone in France, I mean, it's just going to be one of those things where you just try to, basically, I think you like cross your fingers and hope it's not as, dangerous as the past couple rat-based viruses apparently that have hit us right now.
We're due for
we are due to get some some input from Michael Noss. He'll be coming through sometime here in the next couple minutes, so we're excited for that one. Apple at 300, Google at 400, Intel at unlimited prices, AMD upside as well, and then Amazon. So, and we already looked at Tesla a little bit today. So lots happening, many not names down, many names up. NASDAQ kind of flat there. Lots to talk about. Lumentum getting added to the NASDAQ 100. That's going to be a talk as well. And we haven't even touched on oil yet. We're going to go back to the boys. I'm sure they have something to say about the Middle East or whatever they want. Up 3.5% right now. So we'll have to wait to see. Pain at the pumps continue as Iran and USA go back and forth here, apparently not allowing the uranium to be shipped to another country. So no deal for you right now. I only have Intel written down 134 short. I just put out a request for everybody. If you are on X, go over here and tell me what in the world are you guys even trading right now. Here it is right here. I hope everyone had a great Mother's Day. Give me some names over here. Oh, what IPO is today? There, says Dewey. Some sort of an IPO happening here today? All right, we'll double check that there, Dewey, and we'll figure out what IPO is going on today. But Cerebus and everything was Thursday. I'm not here Thursday, but I believe that should be a good one. That's the next.
Yeah, Cerebus is
$1.5 billion, right?
Blackstone Digital is on Thursday. That's so $4 billion for Cerebus on Thursday. Blackstone Digital Infrastructure, $2 billion on Thursday. And then on Wednesday, Fervo Energy.
Oh wow, they're all coming out.
Fervo Energy is $1.5 billion, but I don't actually see anything.
I just asked Dewey there if you guys go on my Twitter. I'll find. I'll ask him.
Yeah, if there's one today, let
But you have the sheet.
well, I mean, I'm not assuming that the sheet is always right, but these are the scheduled IPOs in the calendar. It
could be a mistake. Could have been looking at Cerebus and all those names too, right?
Oh, those are big ones though.
Yeah, that's why it's so big over there. Okay, we'll go back over to the desk.
One that continues to move downside here, even with this impressive move in the overall market, Netflix not really participating whatsoever. We're essentially right back to lows from last week. Once again, $88, 87, 86, even coming if you go over to this high. A little bit of support possibly for Netflix. But you and I were just talking about some of these. There's another price hike coming if you're a Netflix subscriber. You're now paying $19.99 a month for the ad-supported tier. I mean, at some point, we're just right back to where cable was.
Exactly. And here's the thing: wasn't the regular tier around $19.95 a month?
At some point, definitely, yeah. It's now like the lowest premium is now $26.99.
And the thing is, too, and we've talked a lot about this. The more you watch with the ad tier, the more they make, and so it almost feels as if they're making double the amount of money that they were a couple of years ago. Because I remember it was something around that. Yeah. Right. It was around $18 or $20. So interesting take. But Brando, I mean, like they're spending up the yin yang here for content creation as well, and they're also having to spend for acquisition for sports. They're getting into the boxing world. They're getting into a lot of the other sports. They have a big card. Joe, I think it's the Giza card is on Netflix, right? Yeah. So there's Heavyweight Championship, May 23rd, right in front of the Pyramids. It should be a nice backdrop there. Heavyweight Championship, a lot of contenders. That's all on Netflix as well. Yeah. They're probably paying through the nose for that.
For sure. Right? Is it going to get to a point, though, where people are, I don't even know if they allow you to do this, but like just sign up for a month for that, for an event, for a specific sporting event, and then just dump it the next month kind of thing?
I think people do that anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's the market's definitely not liking this. I mean, we've been downside here for 3 weeks essentially for Netflix. It doesn't look good.
No, and you felt that we were going to get that bounce after the dissolution or the dissolving of their acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery after went to Paramount Skydance. We found a bit of a bid, but it feels like we're coming right back into that mid 80s, low 90s area again. But it's certainly better than the $75 area we took. We were trying to reclaim the 200 Brendo on the daily chart. We were above it momentarily, but now we're right back below it again. I think the 200 is somewhere around $97. Currently trading at 87, so about $10 below.
A couple of stocks moving to the downside this morning. IREN with an offering coming out after the better than expected earnings report. It was down on that. CRBS, another one. Cerberus, upsize IPO. Oh, that's the IPO.
Yeah.
4.8 billion, sorry. Yeah, that's also an offering. It's just the initial offering. I just read the word offering there. But yeah, IREN with an offering today, and then CRBS incoming as well.
Yeah, and post earnings, JP Morgan giving IREN. It's a bit of a tough one there. If you're looking for an upgrade, you didn't really get it. Underweight coverage, maintaining the underweight rating with a price target of $46. So it's a bit of a backhanded kind of same rating because they did move up the price target from 39 to 46.
Yeah, it doesn't look great. I mean, we're right back to $50 here essentially this morning, right back into the range if you zoom out a little bit. So we had a nice run up into earnings, and then that got just absolutely sold off immediately as soon as the market opened on earnings day. So we'll see what happens with some of the power names. I mean, really nothing to write home about.
CEG had earnings this morning. Where are they right now? They're up a little bit over here, 1 3/4. We'll get to that earnings report, I guess, at some point. But yeah, we're hearing a lot more about this. Can I bring this up for a second here?
Please.
You know, sometimes when I have something on my mind, I just got to get it out, Brendo. We always talk about AWS, right? You know, there's this like meme, sort of speak, on X and on other parts of the internet called EWS, Elon Web Services. After what he did with that tie-up with Anthropic, people are really pounding the desk on this guy's vision.
Huge deal.
Now, I'm already an Elon fanboy. I'm not trying to, kind of build on that narrative anymore. But the fact of the matter is, this guy bought compute, built out 3 huge data centers. He doesn't have the revenue on XAI at the moment to use all that compute, so he's renting it out. He's making a whole bunch of money on it. Now, here's what I like about this whole thing. Remember when SpaceX and XAI merged? We were like, what is going on? One is profitable, one is bleeding money. Why is he doing this? Well, this is offsetting.
Yeah.
This is offsetting all like the bleeding that he's doing from the XAI component, not to mention the possible new money that's going to come in vis-a-vis the IPO, which he's likely going to funnel into building more data centers.
Yeah.
So I really like this kind of aspect here. He's got his hand in every cookie jar from that side. Forget about Tesla for a second. Just from that side, I really like that.
What a better place, or find me a better place than Amazon to go and find revenue for your compute when you build that out. A lot more people whispering about eventually this all just gets rolled into one.
Agree.
Tesla, everything just gets rolled
Totally
into Elon Corp, and we have an Elon Corp type of stock to trade on a daily basis. As mentioned, let's bring in Michael Moss on a Monday here and get a look at, from a higher perspective here, what's going on as far as order flow specifically. I mean, great move up in the market overall. Happy Monday, Mr. Moss. Are we selling into this, or are there still enough buyers on the sidelines maybe to continue the move?
Not only are they selling into it, they're shorting into this, which is just, when I was looking through the numbers, I'm like, this is insane. Who's either something or I think you're crazy.
Let's jump right into it here. I mean, there's a lot of data to get through. Some of the short-sided ETFs popping up.
Yeah, so this is flows. So the best part of these ETFs is that daily on their website they have to report how many people are investing in or divesting from the ETFs. Now, last time I showed these, I got a question that I think was perfectly valid and said, hey, if people are putting $600 million into SOXS, how's it going down, right? So this is the inverse of the semiconductor fund. So if people are putting so much money in, how is it going down? Well, at the end of the day, these ETFs only move based off of the price of the underlying securities contained in the ETFs, right? So it doesn't matter how many people invest money in it, it's whether or not the SMH is moving higher or lower. And you can see that if you ever go back and just chart out the Cathie Wood ARK, right? People were investing in that thing the whole way down. So that's what we're looking at here. We're not looking at how many people are actually going and buying so much as we're looking at how much they're investing in the fund, if that makes any more sense. It's the same thing, but yeah, it's not going to move the market that much because this is just a derivative of SMH. And SOO and all these are the same, and then these are the ones that are actually getting removed from, and that's TQQQ, which is the long version, and that's SOXL, which is the double long version. So looking at these leveraged ETFs can actually give us a little bit of interesting flow in which they are buying these leverage instruments and then they're selling out of the long leverage instruments. So buying the shorts, selling the longs. They're getting short. There's an argument that could be made there that this is just a big hedge. There's a tax advantage, I guess, to instead of selling my semiconductors, maybe I buy some of the inverse. And if we move down, then I can kind of take a little bit of a gain there to hedge my risk. But at the end of the day, we're talking $1 billion plus sold in SOXL, which is the semiconductor leveraged, and TQQQ, which could be shorts. We don't really know, but they're not buying on the way up. They're selling on the way up. So, and same thing here when we go into these next charts, which these are the commitment of traders data. So now we're going from ETFs over into futures to see if it's painting us the same story or there's some other story out there. So this is usually the red line I show you. I'm going to just display it as a histogram now because I think it's easier to see where the more red this bar is kind of pointing down, the more that they've shorted these contracts. And you can see not really leaning into the short side on the ES, but certainly not covering it, not going long, not betting that this market's going to continue to go up, staying short. And if you stay short and the price goes up, at some point I think you need to capitulate there. This next one's very interesting though. So this is the NQ futures. This is a weekly chart. We only get new caught data every week. That's why we just look at this on a weekly basis. And they've been selling the whole way up. So just like we saw in the ETFs, everybody is kind of getting out of the way or taking profits to the point where the NQ is like neck flat. So they're not long. When I say they, these are the large speculators out there, the big guys. They're not long the NASDAQ. They're short the ES. They're shorting semiconductors. They're selling out of leverage longs. And then this last one is Bitcoin, which is kind of interesting as well, where it's kind of the same pattern. As these assets are moving higher, these people are selling out of them. So to me, this is fuel for the fire. Some people could say, okay, these people know something. The more I study this data, the more I see that they're very wrong most of the time. I've shown you guys example after example of that. So I think it's not only interesting from a potential, hey, they're shorting into this market, there may be a continued short squeeze and they may have to cover, but I think career risk is more of the story here, which we've talked a little bit about, where imagine you're somebody who sold the NASDAQ, you saw that chart as they're selling the NASDAQ on the way up, and then you have to sit down in front of a client who says, semiconductors are ripping, I hope we still own a bunch of them, and you go, no, I sold out of all of our positions, which, if they're right, makes them look like a hero. If we continue to move higher, even if we consolidate sideways for a little bit first, and then we move higher, then it's like, why am I paying you money in order to invest for me where I could have just owned the NASDAQ or the S&P 500 to make more? So interesting. When I loaded up the charts for this week, I expected the opposite. I expected to, finally see some capitulation, the shorts covering maybe a little bit, buying some, these charts pointing to the upside where people are starting to finally get involved, because that would be my moment to maybe lighten up. And as I've been joking here for a while, I'm looking for a reason to lighten up, but it's just not there in the data. They just continue to short into this rally, which...
If we go back to, I just want to touch on the first two bar graphs here that we looked at, essentially the inverse and then the long side or leveraged long side on the ETFs. Is there a reference to, say, I don't know, the last time we got to all-time highs to compare to where you would see similar data at that time? Is it normal, when we get to and chop around at all-time highs for some period for this type of price action to be happening?
No, and I'm actually working on getting the ETF.com data. If you guys want to know where this comes from, you can get access to the API. So I'm going to come back soon with charts of them where we can actually go back and pinpoint them. But no, usually you see a lot of net shorting activity and selling of longs at lows. You normally don't see this at highs. And this is the market's propensity to chase things. So as we drop, and I don't have the chart here, but even if you look at, I guess the slide 3, the ES chart there, they were the most kind of long they've been as the market was near highs. And then as it starts to pull in, that's where they start to add shorts. And you can see the least short they've been was kind of right near the bottom there. So often you get these kind of capitulatory events in which the TQQQ, they'll kind of dump out at lows, and then the SQQQ, right, they'll dump out at highs. It's usually what we see here, but we're actually seeing the exact opposite, where they're leaning into these shorts and they're leaning into these longs, which could just be kind of like what we saw with that Avis budget group, the car, for a while, where it just kept going up every day because everyone in the world thought it was ridiculous it was going up, and people were shorting into it. It's kind of what we're seeing with the data, even though it's a little bit lagged.
As far as what happens next at this point, I mean, caution is the best recipe, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't, you don't need to be a CMT to look at these charts. They were way overextended from here. But the way I kind of look at this and say, okay, everybody in the world is shorting into this rally, then what is the first pullback going to look like? Is it going to just be that moment where these shorts finally feel a little bit of relief, and it creates that underlying bid where every downtick, they start to lighten up on their shorts, and every downtick, the people who have gotten out of their Qs or their TQQQ, their leverage positions, they start buying back in. So yeah, it's a Brian Shannonism, but I think it's important to remind these overbought conditions can correct via price or via time. So it doesn't have to be a pullback. Maybe we just kind of rest here for a bit. But if this data is right, we might not even get that. I don't know. It can't happen forever.
It's one of those things where you almost get lulled into this false sense of, the market just goes up every day, it's fine. But until it doesn't, and then you're really stuck. So we'll see how it plays out, but fascinating to see. Michael Noss, we'll catch you again on Friday. Have a good week.
Talk to you Friday. Have a good one.
Fantastic stuff, as always, by Michael Noss. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the analyst actions here this morning. We're going to kick things off with some downgrades. At the top of the list, we have Goodyear going from a buy to a hold and a $7 price target by Deutsche Bank. Stellantis down almost 2% here, guys, going from a neutral weight to an underweight here with a price target of €5.50 by B of A. And then we have Wendy's. We heard the boys talking about this name last week. In a horrible downtrend, you're down 2.6%, going from neutral weight to underperform, and a $6 price target by JP Morgan. Dell Technologies also getting the downgrade here, guys, going from a buy to neutral here. You're down 1.6%, and a price target increase, though, to $243 by UBS. Moving forward, let's take a look at some more positive things. We have Intel up another 5% this morning, guys. Price target increase to $96 by B of A. And then we also get the nod here on Uber going from equal weight to outperform with a $95 price target from Fox Advisors. Now moving forward, British Petroleum BP getting the nod up 1.8%, going from a hold to a buy. And then Twilio down a little bit here, guys, but a price target increase from $200 to $250 by Needham. Let's send it back to Neil and Sean.
Oh, that Wendy's chart doesn't look very good. It's like the downgrade. Kick them while they're down. That's not an AI trade. But forget about that one. That's not a fun stock to look at. It's tasty. Like that was the Baconator, I think, is one of the things they got up there. The Frosty. I'm a fan, but I really don't like the chart. It doesn't make you like the stock at all either. Uber, however, this has been languishing a bit, so you catch it on the upgrade side. Not that that's a gigantic catalyst in terms of creating volume or anything, because it's not really doing a lot of volume today, but at least last week it bounced right to 50 on Friday. So like 50 period SMA on the daily, like you can see the downward trend Uber's been on since 100 and that little triple top. But we've double bottomed here. You're trying to hold the 50 period, and you did. Like this low, that 74 half bounces right off the 50 SMA, so a confirmation today that it can hold. And you could have a little bit of something going on for Uber, which has been languishing. There's no question about it, but that's a key hold. You lose the 50, and then all kinds of things are starting to break on this chart, right? Like it's pretty important. You got the downward sloping 200 SMA, which is generally not a good sign at all. And oftentimes, actually, Brian Shannon was one that actually mentioned to me, and I look at this now. When looking for any swing trade, if it's a downward sloping 200 period SMA on the daily, temper the expectations for just how much follow through you're going to get, because you want the overall trend to be up when you're going for those little dip buy swing trades. But still, that 50 period at 74.5 is going to be pretty key this week. If we lose it, there's all kinds of flat bottom really happens. But yeah, watch that 74.5 on Uber, and good luck if you haven't been Wendy's, I'll tell you that.
I was just asking myself and thinking about what's going on with silver right now. I mean, silver's a straight upside play right now, so I've actually added this to the note here, as it looks like silver wants to enter the building here. So nice little straight move there, 73 up to $75. Great little level there for VWAP, man, $74. We'll see if that comes back in. We'll wait to see what's going on with silver. Looks like it potentially breaking out now as well, right? Maybe get all the way back here, 86, 87, clear that range, and then get back to those highs one more time. But silver had a little bit of a dip down, and there's your 200 period moving average, just as Neil was mentioning, and good little hold there around $65. So now silver's starting to go. Looks like it wants to break through this high of April the 17th. So SLV on radar today as well. Intel the pullback. Oopsies, that's a Canadian one. The Intel has pulled back now through 130. So just watching out to see if we can base. It looks like it is trying to make a little bit of a base here at 129.50. Still up quite large. They're up 4%. Micron still upside as well. Some of the names are trying to come back in just a little bit as the NASDAQ pulls red. So we'll wait to see what's going on there. JP Morgan at 300 is going to be an interesting name as well to look at. You just looked at, I don't really like Uber anymore. Should have got out at 80 when I was saying that, but that'll probably be wrong, and Uber will probably be the next one to moon. But look at JP Morgan, broke through that shelf right here, 306, 307, trying to get lower now. So we'll see if it can hold the 50 period moving average. JP Morgan not having a great time of it, underneath the 200 as well. So bank stocks right now not in favor, as we heard earlier from Brendan up there, that Kevin Warsh this week will be talked about a little bit. So we'll see if that helps spark some interest rate discussions again, because as of right now, interest rates sort of languishing down there and not looking like it's going to get a cut anytime soon. Robinhood down, SoFi's down under 16. Robinhood now as well, underneath the $76 mark is a little bit of a problem. That is exactly where this 50 period moving average is. So we'll see what Robinhood wants to do today, which is okay. Crypto still holding out pretty good. I want to thank Randy for bringing again another coffee through. Tesla's on my mind, Intel's on my mind, silver. We're looking for some other names as well here, maybe some quantum names. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But
A little bit later this week, HIMS reports tonight. So that could be,
HIMS reports tonight, okay.
HIMS was a big runner last week. Well, it had some moves. I hesitate to say big runner when we're looking at all of those crazy chip moves, right? But it had a big day on Friday, HIMS, up almost double digits, or actually over double digits. And we'll get them after the bell, I believe. Did I say Rigetti? Yeah, there's some quantum names. ASTS, Face Mobile for sure. The quantum names, I don't remember the days exactly, but I'm pretty sure you get Rigetti. You're going to get D-Wave as well. Maybe not that much of a break, but I do see the hamster saying HIMS running now. Well, consolidating would be the word I would use after a gap up. Not too crazy. And for those that asked in the chat, I threw it in the chat, but we'll say it. There were a couple of questions asking about, hey, what's the deal with IREN? IREN with a $2 billion senior notes offering, a convertible notes offering. So that big runner last week, of course, after their earnings, and they're down 9% because of the offering. That would be the reason, and it happens. It's just par for the course. The NASDAQ still holding under VWAP, USO still holding at the highs. I double-checked because the same thing I saw in SLV. It wasn't a move in the US dollar that you can attribute to this. Like, that's for sure. Like, it wasn't the Dixie crashing or anything. But what I find interesting about SLV is twice, like on Thursday, it was a long off, like 73 to the high. Eventually lost, and then it was again 73 to the high. It tried to do the same thing on Friday, could not get to that same high, and ended up languishing. And then look where we broke from. It just started buying again at that 73 level. Looks pretty good. Like, there's nothing about that bottom that doesn't suggest this isn't the continuation play. And I actually like the fact that it isn't just simply that the USD was moving around and it was following. It's seemingly going on its own, which I think can be a good sign. So yeah, it could be an interesting one today. In the metals, it just moves more than gold, so don't add us when it's like, why don't you look at gold? Well, SLV's up 3, and GLD will be up, generally speaking, either nothing or 1, and it's actually down GLD 0.6. I was expecting flat in this case, and that's one of the reasons why traders will look at silver or SLV, just because you get a little bit more bang for your buck. It's the same reason why sometimes you would look at MSTR or BMNR. You would just, instead of looking at IBID, you might just want to be in the thing that's going to move just a hair more. That's what it's all about. You want that action. You got to find it somewhere. And as I look up, I'm reminded not to ignore some Chinese names today, because Alibaba's on my radar for the first time in months. I haven't looked at that stock. Yikes.
All right.
Not a lot of small cappers moving around here that I've been able to see, other than the one that we found in the watch list. So I'm sure Sharif will have to keep himself busy with the scanners to find some of those small cap gappers today.
Brendo, there's one ripping right now, Neil. Great call, right on time. ODYS really going here. About to take out $11, and this one is already a triple-digit winner, up 140%. Looks like there's initial selling here at 11. It's all green on my 5-minute chart, Brendo. Looks like we've just caught off that $5 area, and we've already doubled in a matter of 50 minutes. So be careful with this one, but already doing some good volume, almost 7 million shares traded so far.
There's never a dull moment in small cap land. I was going to mention this one. We'll talk about it on the rundown, maybe coming up a little bit, but Monday.com.
Yes.
30%? I thought SaaS was dead. Like, this is a great report. I was just going through all the numbers, like just handily beating on absolutely everything. Yes, I get it. If you zoom out, the chart looks absolutely annihilated. But this is a great report.
It's a fantastic report. There's really nothing to talk bad about here, guys. They're up 24% here to start the morning. EPS jumping aggressively, 4.5% year over year, taking out on beating expectations on both the top and bottom line. Some of the lesser reported parts of this report are this native agent inflection point. So underreported was the AI work platform with native agents. So unlike typical AI assistants that just kind of help, these agents are designed to execute workflows autonomously. I've been looking for something like that myself to help me with my morning flow. Might have to give Monday.com a quick look here, but this is a pretty good report just off the face of it.
Yeah, I think the further we get into this, the more tailored these products are going to end up getting. And I mean, that's correct me if I'm wrong, it's like a optimization platform, essentially.
It's a CRM platform.
Yeah, in general. So anyways, a few earnings to deal with this morning. Circle was the other one, about to make a new low. We've given that bounce all back once again, so back to 114 for CRCL. CEG not really doing a heck of a lot. We're just chopping around here trying to hold 310 or around that 310 area. And then, yeah, MNDY out of nowhere. It's pulling back right now, but maybe needs to. Almost 30% at the highs, guys, from Monday.com.
So far. But like you look at this one on the monthly, man, there's not many of these a lot of the software, none of them look any good. But this one in particular, that is a heck of a potential reversal on the monthly candle that you see forming. And for it to have made fresh lows, like this made fresh lows. This is not one of these, oh, it's going back to old levels. No, like where it's bouncing from are your all-time lows here on that monthly. And it looks like a breakout to me. You can say whatever you want about the software space, but not every single name that's gotten beaten up in this space is going to be dead. They're not all going to be dead. All that said, it's just one day. It's very light volume. It's done less than 1 million shares in the pre-market. You want to see the money come in and still support it. It just lost the volume-weighted average price. I'm not trying to line things up against it, but light volume, it just lost VWAP. There are some levels when you look at that daily chart, and here, like you come back to the prior highs at about $82.50. So under VWAP, that'd be it gives you an area to look at to try to hold on to. But yeah, with this light volume on Monday and given the overall trend, this feels like a let it open up. Make sure it's holding that 82.5 or at least getting back above the volume weighted average price. But you can't tell me when you look at that monthly chart and that daily chart that this doesn't have a potential relief rally in store for it. And only 21%. It was 30, but you can tell it's already pulled back pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, 15% short float on this name. Could see it come back. I mean, the numbers are just, they're beats, but like their guide wasn't that great. They guided 354 to the high end was 356. Revenue between 345 to 356 when their expected was 354. So I feel like this name is going to be coming back in there. But good surprise, I guess, on the top and the bottom line. The guide was a little under market expectations. So I'm actually surprised that it's up, considering that the guide has been really helping many names get back to the downside if they guide a little lower. So we'll find out what's happening here with MNDY. I think it's overblown. I just don't think a lot of people expected that revenue beat. So that's why it's going to the upside right there. All right, $5 here. Oh, Qualcomm is going. We're hearing in our ear here. So let's go find out about Rackspace. Again, they had some sort of a deal last week, wasn't it, with AMD?
AMD, yeah.
Or something. So yeah, Rackspace definitely got going there last week. And, you know, we always talk about the sum of the parts, right? I mean, if they're going to be building out these big data centers, you're going to need, SMCI of the world, Dell's, the Rackspace apparently there as well. So I think we really like this name. We saw it last week. We did have a little talk about it, potential continuation of this. I'm just looking to see what exactly we're talking about here on the short interest. 20% short float right now for Rackspace. No PE, so they're not making any money right now. Just a market cap of only $1 billion. So yeah, I mean, we did see here, if you look into here in that deal last week there, why is Rackspace surging right there? Oh, they did actually have a sales record as well, 2% year over year increase. Strategic AMD partnership, right? So they create managed enterprise AI infrastructure there, integrate AMD's GPUs. So looks like if you get, it's kind of like AMD is not the new NVIDIA, it's well the same, but if you used to get some NVIDIA stories about stock, like when NVIDIA invested in Intel, for example, how much that's been going up so far. ACM, I have no idea. Thank you for the 1 cent, Jason, but that's maybe from TikTok. Thank you, everybody watching from TikToks. ACOM. Oh, are they is ACM, are they a construction company? ACOM, maybe? I'll have to look this one up, but ACM. I don't know, without knowing too much about it, Jason, this one doesn't look super healthy right now to me. Nice little downside play. Obviously, you want to see if it can hold this $80 mark, but we'll have to do some more work on ACM. I have no idea about that maybe. So, all right, next.
Another.
Morning,
good morning to Southern Nurse.
Yes.
Sally.
I
wanted to say Sally.
That's why I thought it was going to be Sally, but Sal-I, it looks like. Well, good morning to you too. It's a great morning here. The weather is fantastic. We had a lot of baseball yesterday, a lot of fresh air. It was absolutely fantastic. The Red Sox won again in the last inning. We won 10-9 this time. So it was quite a nice move there. We have practice tonight, so getting ready to have another game on Wednesday there. So we're 2-0-1 in our first 3 games.
Nice.
It's been pretty exciting. You guys get started.
Game 1 tonight.
Okay,
and
good.
then we practice on Wednesday.
We're gonna practice some
Wednesday's supposed to be thunderstorms, though, so I'm like really hoping that we don't.
Oh God, we have a game on Wednesday.
Rain on Wednesday, because like at the 9U,
Yep.
practice is important. Like practice is to me almost more important than the game.
Oh yeah, the game is more fun. Where
Game's fun, but
practice is more
last
work
year,
on things.
There was 2 or 3 kids that basically never made it to practice. In the beginning of the year, I say one thing. I go, everyone, I want you to want to play next year, so you enjoy it. And everyone here is going to be better than when they started. And the kids that didn't show up for any practices were just not. You could see, like, from game to game, the kids that come to practice, just huge improvements, confidence and everything. And then if they didn't show up at practice or we didn't get good practices in, you'd always see that language.
I'm glad you're head coaching this year. That's going to be a much better.
How about my boy Sean Strickland? Told you so. You got to talk to these boys.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that.
Talk to Joe about Strickland, STK trader. Joe apparently, I don't know if he has his microphone on, but.
Did you bet on Strickland there, Joe, or?
No, he didn't. He's shaking his head.
No, okay, he did not. Okay.
The fight this weekend is like Jake Paul promoting the Rousey Serrano fight on Netflix.
Yeah,
that'll be the big one. See how that goes. I mean, they're both. That's the thing now. It's like, people are more interested in watching like a big name of people that are past their prime than like the actual like best of the best. But it is what it is. I think it should be interesting.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, that's part of we talked about part of the price of Netflix.
That's why it's going on.
Starting to go higher there. You're right. You got, some interesting fights there. You get some new live events. New deal with the NFL apparently as well. We talked about that a little bit on Friday. So hopefully, you guys are enjoying your Netflix subscriptions regardless of the price of the subscription. The cost of everything is going. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Qualcomm's going hard too.
Almost 10% again for Qualcomm.
Yeah, I think the name I wanted to get into, waiting for a pullback, is Corning. Corning, maybe a little bit, 192. Corning had a deal there with no pullback today, but they had a deal with NVIDIA as well last week. So, yeah, Qualcomm going higher there, Corning going higher. Corning, the glass maker, with Apple really setting. Apple's about to set the world on fire again, by the way, with this WDC. I mean, they're going to basically monetize the living crap out of AI. And they're going to be one of the first names to do that, I feel like, on the consumer side. So getting ready for, obviously, AI has been not even, I think we're still in the early innings, but well monetized on the commercial side. We'll see now for consumer side with over 2.5 billion iOS devices. We wait to hear what their talk is. And they're going to talk all about Google and Gemini. So that's what's coming out with WDC is the fact that you can get Google and Gemini playing nicely with your Apple iPhones. And then we'll see about all that install base and how they can monetize that. And you're going to find out how with Mr. Turnus and company at WDC, I believe, early June. So
people talking about the devices and what's next for AI. Think of this. AI right now, it's training on what data, right? Like it wants to read your emails, it wants to read Reddit, right? It's about language. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're trying to train robotics, which is the next wave, right? If you're trying to train things that are autonomous, like those types of things, you're gonna have it learning on our devices which are connected to like audio. You're just walking around, it's listening to everything you do, it's watching everything that humans do, and it's one thing. You already have this happening with workers. It's like, okay, wear this device, and then the robots will be trained on the workers doing it, but then everyday life is gonna turn into that. And it's like, who has the devices that are gonna be doing the training? This is probably the reason why Meta wanted to make the glasses thing work. You think it's because it's cool and people wanna wear them? Yeah, whatever. It's because they understand that if everybody is wearing this device, then all of a sudden, they're gonna have their models training on their gaggle of, not that anyone is wearing these glasses, but I think that's the next big step. And whether you have whether or not we've seen the device that this is going to matriculate on, it doesn't make sense that it would be a phone. I feel like the watch isn't enough. Maybe it is maybe it is some kind of the glasses.
Well, there's the AirPods.
But there's
and everything.
there's the AirPods. We're already starting with the AirPods. It's going to start with audio because that's the lowest hanging fruit.
Well, the AirPods have cameras on them.
But you want more than just that. Like
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big deal. And one of the things Apple will have, and this is the next battle, and you got to figure right now it would be Apple and Meta. If you had to guess at who was going to win this, they're going to hold the keys when it comes to the next layer of training. And that's huge for them. So I think that's big for Meta. Right now, probably you'd lean toward, well, Apple already knows how to make things and they do it well. Meta hasn't really proven that yet. But that's a place that Meta can catch up. That's a place where Meta has the opportunity to actually be not the ugly stepchild in the Mag 7, would be to gain a bit of a foothold here. At least that's my thought.
Yeah, I mean, their PE is just 22. Everyone
It's so
else's
cheap.
is in the 30s, right? So if you want to take advantage of some Meta, might be time to buy it. I think Microsoft and I think the two table pounders are going to be Microsoft and Apple at these levels, but we'll wait to see. I still think Apple is a huge top pick right now, and that bodes well for the indexes. I mean, as we talked about Apple, NVIDIA, and Google all vying for that top spot. So should be good here. Yeah, look, it's 9 o'clock. We got the watch list going. The sticky note's now out as well. So we're excited to have some plays like that. We got silver on our mind today, and I don't know what's creating this move higher here, but there goes silver. We actually looked at the US dollar a little bit earlier as well. It's starting to come back just a little. Whoopsies. Starting to come back just a little bit right now. Let me see if this is on the right, 1 minute chart. So let's go over quickly just to a 10-minute chart, just to have a look to see what exactly is happening. Yeah, it's a little bit of a pullback now in the US dollar. Not as dramatic as I thought we might be seeing with this kind of a move up there in silver. So I'm going to do some work, go find out what's going on with silver now. Up 4% today, SLV. It's on my watch, as well as Intel, Silver, Moderna, Amazon. So those are the four names. Neil mentioned Alibaba. So there's a couple good names to look at here today, like DraftKings as well. We'll talk about that. Going Uber, SMR. There's so many different second week plays. A lot of hot earnings last week. So we'll have a look at that. Palantir going lower as well. Let's go back over to the desk.
737.82, guys, is where we closed out on the SPY on Friday. We're a little bit below that right now, trading at 736 and a third. So, we're down about 0.1%. We're going to basically say we're looking for that $35 area, 735 as our first level of support. If we really start selling off, maybe take some profits from last week's big accretion, we're looking at 730 as support level 2. If we really start catching a bid, well, we're going to look to the overnight high as our first level, to the closing print, 737.82 as our first level of resistance. We catch a bid, we're looking at that $10 area, Brendo, 740 as R2.
As always, if you haven't done so, grab that free watch list for you down below in the description. You'll find a link to the sign-up page for that. Remember, huge week coming up for inflation data, specifically CPI tomorrow morning at 8:30. We'll get PPI then the following day as well on the back of the Fed and on the back of all the earnings we've had over the past couple of weeks. So lots to come still for the overall market on a macro sense. Let's talk about Intel here to get things going this morning on the back of a huge move to end last week. Going into the weekend here, we're up even further on this deal with Apple.
Yep. So I got a lot of information now that it's been like a couple of days. The market digests a lot of the info, trickles out. Let's talk a little bit about this. So apparently Howard Lutnick, after the U.S. government took that 10% stake in Intel, was meeting with all the big tech leaders, and his sales pitch was pretty simple. You need to build domestically, and this company is as good as any. It was basically, looking for a buyer, as we had basically been theorizing this entire time. Also, the advanced packaging is going to be the entry point. What does that mean? So if people were thinking, all right, they're going to start making M-series chips, they're going to start making A-series chips for the cell phone. No, they're going to take advantage of advanced packaging by Intel, done domestically. That's going to be the first order of business. The third point that I want to make is the Panther Lake performance. That's Intel's latest CPU, and it's built on the 18A node. Believe it or not, that actually demonstrated 33% better multi-core performance than Apple's latest M5 chip. So Apple possibly wanted to do a bit of a deal here to catch up and not fall behind in the PC market. Point number 4, that analyst at Bank of America quietly noted that if the Intel captures just 25% of Apple's total chip volume, that would account for a 5,000% increase in their foundry business right now, which only makes $174 million in revenue per year. That would be a 5,000% increase on that 174 number. Last but not least, Brendo, the M series first, A series second. So if there is going to be a deal beyond packaging into chips between these two companies, it's going to be for the M series first, which is lower volume, which is for their laptops, and then perhaps by 2028, 2029, they start making the A series chips for iPhone.
What a move it has been for this thing. I mean, even going back to the beginning of May, which is insane. 125, 130 guys comes into play here for Intel. What do we do this week?
Well, you know, predicting where it's going to go is certainly what everyone's all about. But if you're looking to predict other things, like where maybe Bitcoin closes this week, or who wins in 2028, maybe even where GDP lands, stop arguing about it and you can start trading. Gemini predictions. Yes or no markets are on crypto, they're on commodities, they're on politics, sports, and much more. Now they have 15-minute and 5-minute crypto markets so you can trade the action in real time. Set your amount, see your odds, get paid when you're right. Open an account at Gemini.com or scan the QR code for more information. This portion of the show brought to you, and thank you to Gemini Predictions. Well, for Intel, it has been, to say that it's been a parabolic ride would be, okay, it's an understatement, but you've also seen this with a host of other names. And one of the things that we've seen specifically with Intel, let me zoom on the 15 so you can see far enough. See the consolidation, parabolic day, gap up, pull down. Not much of a consolidation. You call it like a one-day break. There's your gap up, pull down, break, consolidation, gap up, pull down, consolidation, break, gap up, blah, blah, blah. You see what we're getting at here. The pull downs, if you look at each of these like pull down type days, either it's like, well, this one's not a pull down. There's your pull down. Holds prior support level. This pull down here, it didn't gap up, but it ends up holding this resistance to support level. So it tends to have some knowledge to it. Consolidation, this pullback day holds the prior high. Whoops, I just did sticky keys. So you gap up and then the pull down 124. So that's the prior high. So if we're not, just like every other day has been like you just blast at the open, right? So either blast at the open, or if we get the pull down day, the long is back around this 124 area. It looks like, and it's just based on the pattern we're seeing here in Intel. You can look at a host of other chip names, like we could fill this in with AMD, Micron, that have all been going crazy. I think this story, the Apple story, is a fantastic one. This is exactly what you were looking for Intel. The ability to add billions in this foundry business in a few years down the line, and then it goes, you get one customer, you get a bunch of others. The issue is like none of that is built in from 19 to 130. Like some of it's got to already be built in if we went from $19 to $130. So from the long term, like this bull run and just following the pattern, that's one thing. But the other side of it is, I've tripped twice on the way up, and neither time has looked incredibly good. You got to feel some of this is built in. And I don't know when the crazy pullback is happening, but if it puts more than two red days in a row, maybe that'd be an indication that it's starting. So I'm looking at the 124 because that's what the pattern's telling me.
Yeah, 124 is a great level. We're looking long there if we can get it. I'm looking short initially, though. It's crazy to short this. I know that. I already wrote it down here. Dangerous trade for now, right? I mean, but you can make money on the way back in. So I think that's what we're going to be temporarily looking for right now. I mean, it's a great bounce off the 200. That's something for sure to look at. I mean, we always look at prior day's closes. So 124, obviously that would be a big level for me as well. And just looking to see if that's 134 holds. It's easy to break that right away, right? We got to wait for those imbalances. I just want to play a little bit of a pullback if there is anything. I mean, this is the parabolic move on the Apple news. You know, basically as soon as that hit about 12:45 there on Friday, it absolutely rifled up, and then it just kind of gave it back, right? And didn't do too much the rest of the way. And then today you're getting upgrades and more people talking about that deal. And so that top right there is 130, and that's kind of what we're coming into here and held. So that 130 is going to be something interesting. But, you know, here's kind of what we're talking about. You can really go hard off the open and then, you know, can a little bit of a pullback. But it didn't even come close to VWAP or the 200 period moving average on these kind of pullbacks. So I was just looking here. We actually pulled back in, closed, you know, went underneath VWAP, went underneath the 50, like we were really starting to go, and then it just got bought and immediately back up. So this might not be a short at all. This is probably a screaming long. And if that is the case, you just have to wait for this 129 again, which right now it's only 20 minutes away from open. So Intel up 5.5%. Yeah, man, like sold some 124 on Friday. You know, we talked about that at lunchtime, basically on this kind of a move upside there. No, it must not have been 124. Yeah, right into here. Yeah, so we got back right into this area, and now it's just screaming. And we did sell some at 89 as well. So it's like it's upside for Intel, and selling has been completely wrong and probably still will continue to be. So I'm just going to let this thing ride now. Got some cash in. I put some cash to work. You guys know this is going to be a mistake again because Intel's upside, but I bought some CEG on Friday.
Up 2 points.
Right? Yeah, it's okay. Up 1.3%. Right now, not doing a whole heck of a lot, but CG had a good little run there. So just getting into some power names. I saw IREN with a move down today. Obviously, I think they got downgraded there. We'll see how long that lasts for. Probably not very, as IREN did have, you know, earnings last week as well. Nice little pullback into 45 would be nice to get something long into that. And we did have day 2 play possibly, or 3 play with CoreWeave as well, as they were bumping around there Thursday night into Friday, move down in, watching out for this 110 area. And then still waiting to see if we can get, ARM is getting a lot lower right now. Okay, ARM, I see you. I better go find out exactly how many shares I was planning on buying here at 200, because this is making a move back in, and I still do like that 180-ish area here. This would be a better, you know, we could maybe, let me go find out how many shares we're doing there, but this is the level that I like much better. So, you know, maybe if we do break 200, you know, let's just say we're trying to get a full position. So this level would be for me like, you know, 10, 15, 20%, something like that. So we got to make sure. And then back down into here, add to that maybe 25, 30%. So when you have like half your position if it comes in, and then you can wait, get another 25 or so if you do hit down around the 200 period moving average, and then you just plug your nose and say, what have I done, when it's down here into 90 again. So we'll wait to see what happens with ARM, but I like the infrastructure idea with ARM. And I know we're talking about Intel, but we'll go right over to crypto next. So all these plays definitely worth looking at as we get a little lower. Look, you can always buy things at the top. It makes it look easy because they keep on going higher. It's trying to find value on the way back in on stocks that you like. So I do like IREN and I do like ARM. So I think those are 2 names there. And I don't know, man, silver is just still going. It's almost $77 right now.
5% now.
We might have to add silver to that list, but we still have Micron, oil's going crazy, and then we have Circle. So let's go talk about USDC and whatnot.
Bitcoin back upside right now as well. So all of these names trying to catch a bid on the back of that. Circle raising $222 million from BlackRock. Did start this move right here off the bottom. I mean, the initial move down was the numbers themselves. I mean, they did this A16Z raise as well. That's a new sound. Yeah.
No idea what that was.
Just random sounds every day.
Yeah, sounded very close, Brenda.
Yeah. That's okay.
No, but you're bang on with that $222 million, and they raised that for their ARK token. That's the thing, and they're backed by BlackRock, so they're kind of issuing their own token here. And if you look at it, the valuation, it's already $3 billion, fully diluted network value. It signals, they're obviously launching their own effective decentralized government layer. That's point number 1. Then they have this agent stack. And you and I have been talking a lot more about this. Agents with their own network communicating together, devoid of all human contact. Yeah. They're launching that. It's called Agent Stack, and it's specifically designed for autonomous AI agents to hold and spend USDC. And then there was an on-chain volume surge. So they did miss, as you mentioned, on the reported revenue. But the other side of that was that their on-chain transaction volume exploded by 263%. And that was $21.5 trillion that were exchanging hands there on their on-chain network. That's a massive disconnect that proves basically USDC utility and the velocity are accelerating regardless of interest rates. Last but not least, they had a meaningful wallet kind of growth here. So the growth of 7.2, what they're calling million meaningful wallets that are active and that have recurring usage. It's basically the holy grail of stablecoin adoption. It's suggesting that USDC is being used for real world commerce. Those are real world noises right there.
Some ghosts going on in the studio this morning. I don't know what the hell that is. Circle trying to bounce here this morning, 117 was that resistance level essentially from Friday after the close. So trying to hold on to that, guys, for CRCL.
Yeah, like this has been bouncing all over the place pre-market. Like when I looked at the data, I was like, okay, well, it's not going crazy. It's not seeming like it's a bit of a breakout, but it's got an upward trend intact. And if you can see like, it's about to golden cross if you're into that sort of thing. I think the more important thing would be that both the 50 and the 200 SMA and the daily are giving you some support here at about 110. It's 110 to about 106 if you look at that inside. So whether you like the golden cross or not, seemingly that's happening unless it has a red day. But I feel like a test of that 110, it was last week's support as well, would be the spot to go. Like, look at all this crazy, we don't know what we're doing action up, like gap up, pull right back into the 110, back to 120, back to 113, back to 120, back to 113. I think you just wait for it to test that 110 level. The daily chart's going to show you some support down there. Give it a couple of days and then resume the trend to the upside for Circle. I do have IBIT on the list today. Here, although, I mean, the way that silver's moving, it's like, how can you not look at that first? We've been going back and forth, like which one of these two things, whether it's Bitcoin or silver that I'm trading in the day. But Bitcoin does have the hold of 80K. And then we have 45.5 all-day resistance and then half a day on Thursday. That gives a nice dip and rip level here. I don't know if the market seems like it's more inclined to do the dip than crypto right now. But if we get that dip into 45.5, that's where I'm looking for bounce on IBIT. But I'd be more of a wait and see the 110 hold on Circle, give it a couple of days to make sure that it's not really flushing through that level after earnings.
Yeah, so I have silver written here, 73.50 long, but I said this was when we released this. Well, we released it a while ago, but we wrote this down a while ago. 73.50, we're looking to get out of this. Get long into this name on this breakout. But the thing is that breakout level of 75 is now broken. It's at 76 and change. We'll look for a pullback. I said just watch the 200 period on the 1 minute, right? If there's going to be anything, silver, second place medal, of course, next to gold if you're ever competing. But yeah, silver right there. So here it is. That's your 200 period right now. So now we got to sort of up our target from 73.50 into 74. May not ever even think about coming back in. So we'll have to potentially watch out for VWAP here at 75. But yeah, silver really getting going there. As soon as we broke sort of through, I don't know where this volume came from at 820, but all of a sudden, boom, right there to the upside. And it looks like traders want to get this thing going, but breaking now back in. We'll see if we can retest some of those highs in upcoming weeks. But I like SLV here. It looks like the momentum's right back into this name. And it's going higher, and I didn't even look at gold yet. So, whether or not, we looked at the US dollar, wasn't doing a whole heck of a lot. Yeah, so gold right now starting to go with it, but still flat on the day. But yeah, nice move from 428 up to 434. So gold trying to get going here as well. And just another check on USO. We're going to talk about oil in a second. So oil up, but heading lower. Let's go find the story with the boys.
In a hurry here, we gave up that pre-market support level. There's really no update or no significant headlines that have come through on the Middle East situation. Nothing out of the that hasn't changed dramatically anyways. The last one coming late yesterday, Trump essentially saying this latest proposal is completely unacceptable.
Well, if they're asking for full autonomy and control of the Strait of Hormuz, like who's going to accept that?
Which was the same as the prior one as well. Like nothing changed. Yeah.
I have no idea what they're thinking there, but unacceptable to President Trump. Also, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warning yesterday that the conflict with Iran is, quote, not over. So whatever that means. There was some positivity this morning. I was looking at some of the comments from Saudi Aramco, who did report this morning. The Saudi foreign, I think the oil minister was basically saying that they're going to try to reach full capacity. 12 million barrels per day, I guess, is the Saudi full capacity. And they're going to try to reach that, Brendo, obviously, to try to drop the prices a little bit. Again, they are worried about demand destruction, right? These elevated oil prices, great. They're good for the pocketbook in the short term for these companies, but they don't want people leaving permanently.
Yeah. As we said, there's key levels all around here, so we might get more chop than anything that looks terribly directional today, guys.
Yeah, I think we just sort of entered, last week we were looking at this gap zone between 136 and call it like 139, 140, where you had the top of the range for USO was support, and it really wasn't even that big support. You had one close and then one bounce off, and then we had this little 136, which seemingly is going to hold. So inside of the range, I would expect chop inside of the range, but what we got to be careful for is if we break out tops here, that's going to be bad, obviously. And if we break out the bottom, I think you can be an all systems go type look. So if I do trade like Battle, which generally has been one of the energy names that I've liked, because when we spike, it tends to go ham, being a small cap with a big short float, or even when I look at like Boyle to short in the other direction, you're really looking for moves off of the top end of the range or bouncing off the lows. And if you don't get something extreme, breaking under or breaking above, don't diddle. I wouldn't diddle in the middle here. It's like wait for it to bounce off the lows for support, or break down for a big time continuation. So if I see us trend back into the highs, that could be a good place to pick up longs if you're looking for longs in the overall market. If we see us start holding this low, that can be a good place for like some rollover type shorts. But yeah, the range seemingly is set. We haven't proven that we've held it, at least. So I think that's the one. Are we even going to hold this range at the open? We've just gapped into the middle of it. So it's a bit undetermined here. I'm not specifically looking to trade USO. I'm just using it as a bit of a, it's just a forward look in the futures, right? If we see us breaking down here, I think that's going to bode well for the SPY, and then you start looking for some longs. But it's got to prove itself at this 136.
I was going to say really quietly, some of these mega cap names here in the oil space here have really come back in like a lot. Like that's 215 upside there for CVX, back down to 180 and looking actually like it wants to, hopefully it wants to hold. But, if oil does come back down, we look for these, huge names like XOM and CVX to really come back in. I mean, XOM's another one of those plays right here that's got to get it all figured out, right? As they might be able to get a lot of oil there from Venezuela and so on and so forth, but still going to be refined, still going to got brought up. And yeah, maybe they're just not performing as well with this current price of oil per barrel. But yeah, I'm surprised at the kind of the pushback here in XOM and CVX, Occidental. I mean, there's a few different names. There's that big name that people like to trade, Battle, as well, once oil starts moving. But these look like they're at pretty decent levels here. I'm a little nervous about these levels. I'm on XLE, so I continue to sort of suffer the same fate of this downside play in the market as those multinationals there. And you can see, wow, yeah, that's right, it's split. Okay, just zoom in a little bit. You see the high there, 63, back down into 56. So they're all right in and around a little bit of an area where we could lose bid a little bit. So let's keep our eyes on these names as our radar gets heightened a little bit, just because of where USO is. USO is still, well up there, not threatening breaking some of these levels. Like this is kind of where XOM and CVX is down near these kind of levels. So we'll wait to see if oil can continue to prop them up. And as we won't talk about Constellation, there was a little bit of a sleeper report there as well. But, new space for energy. You always want to look at those SMRs. There was XE last week, or a couple weeks ago with the new IPO there. SMR, to me, looks like it's coiling up. So this is a good sign, in my opinion. SMR coiling up down here in and around that $11, $12 mark, looking to pop higher there. So new scale, to me, looking pretty good. We've already made that sort of wipeout bottom. A lot of buyers hopefully came in there, as you see capitulated volume spikes down at $9. So we'll see if that gets going back up to the upside. They've already through earnings. So if you're looking at energy, I put recent money. I'm still in SMR, but I just put recent money in Constellation, and good report, but they're not going to be one of those names that fly around. Let's just see if they can continue to mature up, bouncing off the 50 period. We like it. Don't like the fact that it's starting to slope down a little bit. Would rather have broken through this 330, so that's kind of like thought we could buy something on a little bit of a discount heading into earnings, and we didn't really get that pop. So now let's wait. Maybe we'll add to it if it breaks above 330, but new position for me in the longer term portfolio now is CEG, so we'll see if that one wants to wind up working out. Kind of just a trade for me. off this level. We'll see if it can hold 300. Hopefully it does. Today's day one earnings, it just reported, so we'll see what winds up happening with Constellation. I mean, if we can get a little bit more, we would, but I don't like the fact that it's under the 200 period moving average. Let's see if it has the legs to break higher there. If not, then maybe we go into, you know, another name like IREN or something. IREN today with a convertible notes offering, so that's down 10%. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with IREN. We chased this one on Friday, trying to go long in the $60 mark. Now you're down again, another 10%. So IREN off earnings and notes offering, not a great spot there for IREN. But hey, man, I like the power space, and someone's got to get this all going. I like water, gas plays as well. So it's not just all oil pure. It's some of these other outside plays I think can get going there. And if you haven't heard about a stock called Micron, it was only $40 last year at this time. It's now, what, 700? So
what do they do again?
Interesting move higher there. Yeah, something about RAM or something. Yeah. Let's go find out what's going on with Micron, a name that's new to us around here.
Wait a minute or two, it might be 800 this morning. This just unbelievable move. I mean, it's 795 right now. Yeah. Like we're about to take out the highs again. Like this is just unbelievable in 2 days, let alone the past couple of weeks.
Brendo, the way that this thing is moving, and they're helped by two different headlines today. One, with their competitor Samsung, there's speculation that the workers there could walk out, and the Samsung foundry, what they're requesting from the company is, Brendo, that they allocate 15% of all their operating profits for bonuses for these workers, and they're threatening to walk out on the 21st of May unless a deal with management is reached. That's obviously good for their competitors, because if Samsung can't make them, you got to buy them from somewhere else, and that's probably going to push prices a little bit higher, which is going to increase margins. You guys get the drill. Then also, Deutsche Bank analyst Melissa Weathers commented following meetings with management. She said, quote, "We came away from the meetings with a very clear vision that AI is fundamentally changing the cyclical dynamics in memory industry. Technologically, the value of memory has never been higher, with all the layers of the memory hierarchy proving to be critical enablers, of performance improvements for AI processors." So they're getting the nod today from Deutsche Bank as well.
$1 to go here, and we're above $800, guys, for MU. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, with SK Hynix going and SanDisk, and it's like Micron. Some days it doesn't even seem like the most impressive one, but another 7 points today. We did show you guys the blue ocean because it was above $800. I know we're cresting 800 now, but it did reject the 800 level in the overnight session. Here, I can quickly show you a bit of a rejection at the 800. Got as high as, I see, like 814 or so, and then rejecting it. So when you look at Micron, if this is your cup of tea, like I'll be looking at Intel. Whoops. I'll be looking at, in the chip space, Intel, and probably NVIDIA, because NVIDIA has been like relatively weak and sort of gapping down today in a little bit of red. But Micron, watch out for, if it breaks the 800 and doesn't take that overnight high, then that retracement through 800, it's the kind of signal. I'm not saying it's going to have some kind of a top, but we've seen this story before. If you make that false breakout of a prior high, like an example would be, this would be Thursday, right? Like it's breaking, going, the prior high doesn't go, and then it does a complete reversal. So watch out for that 813, 814 area if it does make the break. Get clean through that, and again, all systems go here on Micron. Whether you think, look, man, I've been thinking that it feels a little crazy. We built so much into this. It's like, well, at some point you really start to begin to think, how have you not priced in enough of this? But the chart is proving itself. So until we start taking out levels to the downside, like false break of the high and then lose the support level the next day, you just got to try to ride the wave. I think the short's coming, like another pullback is coming, but there hasn't been a sign of it. Maybe we make one today and this 800 is going to prove it, and then tomorrow will be a bit of a pullback day for Micron. But it's going to be about this 800 break and whether it fails or not.
This was 7 days ago. This was $500. So it's $800 right now. So here we are, we're talking about, I don't like Uber, blah, blah, blah. I don't like this stock. I really like Robinhood down here. I really like SoFi down here. What the hell are we even doing? Like these are the names that we should be buying, not worrying about buying these crappy stocks that keep going down. Like look what Micron is doing, man, just making us all look foolish, not being long this name. I mean, breaking through this $500, there it goes again, right there, 470, boom to the upside. Like it's just, as Neil was saying, it's one of those things where you think it's going to be coming back in at some point, and you get like 1 or 2 days where you're like all genius-like, and then it's like, see you later, right there, back up to the upside. So there's nothing is stopping this, and it's just congratulations to everybody that have made millions on this. I mean, I hope we're watching. Some of you guys are watching right now and just enjoying the ride. But it's Micron, it's upside. It's only a minute till the market. Now let's go back over to the boys, and then we'll hit this market running.
Yeah, real quick on Tesla. I mean, coming back in right now, but this thing on a huge run as well, just going back to the middle of last week. I mean, we were touching on some of the positive momentum for Elon and the AI side of things. You have another one there.
Yeah, Lip Bu Tan and Elon together on the weekend there with an optimist head in the middle. The meeting confirmed that Intel has officially joined the TeraFab project, and the optimist head there is to kind of signal these are not chips just for cars. These are going to be the chips that power next gen Optimus.
And that's the key. And the scale that he's talking about, they're going to need a lot of them, guys. Nice couple of weeks here for Tesla as well.
They just killed a robot and decapitated it in their whole.
It's like they're like a bunch of terrorists or something over there. Like I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Here's our trophy.
But anyways, looks good. Looks good.
20 seconds to go. So Tesla with a bit of a dip down right at the, I guess right when imbalances came. So I was just looking at Baba because Baba's the name. I'm actually looking for a fade play on Alibaba, but we just lost the bid on Tesla. The 425 was key support, and it just broke through those lows. So watch for that level to come back in here. As we ring the bell for the first time this week, it's going to be another crazy one as the market does what it does, and more highs coming in. So silver was, I guess, the surprise mover this morning, and up 5.5% for SLV. I should say the levels that are important. I had 74.25 as a key on the daily. You can forget about that. Maybe it'll dip into VWAP. You see the US dollar moving around a bit. Alibaba was looking for a pop, and Baba's fading already. So that's right through the low of the day. Alibaba heading to the downside. They report on Wednesday, Alibaba. So might have to maybe look at VWAP if it's not going to pull into prior highs. It was trending into pulling back into prior highs. That no longer seems like it's going to be the case here for Alibaba. And then IBIT looking for a bid back into 45.5. Nothing happening there yet.
No, I'm going to take just a quick short. And again, we don't want to go too crazy here too early. We'll wait for 136s. I'm only going to give it 2 136.75 or 50s. We did bust a little bit higher through those. 136.25. Okay, it looks like it's going to go out. There it is. Right. Whoa, right. Whoa, okay. Right back. That's why you don't want to take too many shares when these things are going on. But there it goes. Upside there for Palantir. Just saw a nice little move. Look at the market starting to go higher. So we're going to just settle down. That was just an early move right there immediately. I guess Amazon's probably starting to go at the upside. This was a short that I was not mind looking at. No, it's actually 270. That's okay. It's Moderna that just dropped out of nowhere to back into 55. This was a level that we looked at earlier. Moderna, wouldn't mind it down there at 135. Or sorry, 55. Sorry, just hits it right now. MRNA. So watching out for this name back down near $55. Looks like Palantir is coming back in. So in it, out of it, right there. Palantir, waiting to see what's going on over there. I'll take a shot here with Moderna down there at $55.
Yeah, that's starting to go in. ARM as well, I'm seeing flying. You got to be kidding me. it was pulling back into 200, ARM. It really was. It was so close. And now you're at 212, so that one is absolutely gone. NVIDIA flying to the upside. So what was relatively weak is now looking incredibly strong. 215 is going to have to hold for sure. Still looking to see if we can get Baba to bounce. Well, it doesn't. I'm not trying to get it to bounce. I'm looking to short it if in fact it can bounce. Maybe VWAP here, 137.5. We get a super chat here from Justin looking at NVTS. What are your guys' thoughts on them? Also, Sabres will get it next time.
Yeah, they lost yesterday.
Yeah. Well, you know what? NVTS had a
Palantir
1840 break, I think, on the chart. Congratulations. Going to assume that you're along this one. Yeah, 1840 break. I know because there's another trader who was like, yeah, what do you think about that? I'm like, oh, look at that good level for a break. So I hope you got that one long. And Navitas, again, now $20 the stock is already here. Insane.
Yeah,
that super chat was before the market opened. So.
we're making it all back right now. We just got a little bit there on. I mean, it's too bad that Palantir. Like, look at where we're going now. We're short again. This was a huge trade, 136 down to 134.50. I just shorted 135.10, and we just got some out there at 134.60. So here comes back in. Man, we just a little bit too early, as we always talk about that. But sometimes you got to get lucky to avoid those top wicks there. But so far, so good. Here goes Moderna. I don't know. I'm sitting at $57. We wrote down 55 on the note today, so it's right here. It came in. I wasn't bidding 55. I don't ever want to be doing that right away off the open. But there's 55 long back into Friday's close. Let's see if it can wind up holding that. As there it goes through 57. So it's your face slapper right there. We're almost in the. Well, now we're in the money at $1.80 on both of these positions. Palantir. There it is, man. Finally, we make it all back on PLTR. It's too bad because we didn't have the big spot there. We got to open up our stream deck if we're going to get those nice little dollar clubs busting through. But there it is, 134 and change. 133 and change now for Palantir. Let's take it out right there as we'll go dollar club hunting on the second sort of iteration of this trade. It's too bad we didn't have the big banger still on board right there, but there it goes, man. Now, wow, we are really face slapping this one now as Palantir getting lower, Moderna getting higher, man. We like what we're seeing here today so far. 2 for 2 net-wise. We lose on that first trade, but you know, Palantir's in the money now. We'll have to wait to see what Moderna wants to do. It's coming back in. If this breaks through 55, that's going to be that level that we were looking at. So we'll say hands up in the air and wave them like we just don't care on that one. 134 came right back into the pre-market lows again of Palantir. And now we're there. So we'll see where this one wants to keep on dropping back down into. We do get another alert right here. Amazon up to our prices right now as well of 272. So yeah, so far we're right here right now. We got Moderna long, we got Palantir short. Palantir short is now double dollar clubs, as that is now going to be a big one. As again, we talk about what's important to trading, trying to believe and stick into what you think. Right there, we did get back into it. It's too bad that we don't have the big one, but there it goes downside. Nice positive day so far here trading, and yeah, it's only 9:35. So.
Market going up, and like every stock I'm looking at is going down. IBIT's pulling back in here. BABA's pulling. Well, BABA's a Chinese stock. It doesn't really matter. Intel is pulling back as well. Benzing is disconnecting. So the only one I'm into is underneath VWAP here on Alibaba, and then looking over, we're starting to get that pullback in in IBIT, and then SLV is not. So I wanted to dip by this, but it's not even dipping at all. IBIT could be the first one to fall in here as we are closing in the gap to 45.5. So really just looking for BABA to break the LOD, the low of the day here, down 2%. There was a small story about Quen for Alibaba, but I think the earnings going to be a bigger deal. And the explanation for the trade is double top on Friday, gapping down. I was looking for a gap fill up here, too short. Otherwise, it's just this little flat bottom break here in Alibaba. Chinese stocks have been a little bit weak for a while now. And of course, we have the meeting on Wednesday and Friday. So BABA, it's about quarter in the money at the low of the day. I'm going to take some out at the actual LOD and just look for the continuation play. Going to be hands off on this dip until we get to our key level in IBIT. For now, let the short work in BABA and try to fill this gap in IBIT before we take that long.
All right, man, let the bodies hit the floor today. Yeah, Amazon, good move, man. We just got a buck and change there on AMZN. We did write down Intel 134. I don't know if it got to 133, so that's okay. Happy with what we chose, man. We're almost at our daily goal again. There's Moderna right now into the club, and that was a 55 long as well. And if you guys are looking for, again, you know, here we go. We got Intel at the top. We got silver. We got to look at that. We got Moderna 55 long. The bottom's 55.20 right now $2 in the money. We got it. Then we got the Amazon short as well. That printed a little bit. It's right back up there. I don't know about shorting. Okay, there we go. We get a little bit more. We get back in what we got. So this is going to be one that still a little early, but it's busting through our levels. I'm going to give this to 50 only. Here it goes. So if we take that level out, man, we made a buck. It's ripping against us a little bit right now, which is fine. Palantir is now $2 in the money, by the way, and really giving up the ghost here is PLTR. So let's get, there we go. We get some more out there at 85. But yeah, this name, wow, what a monster Palantir is turning out to be. It is too bad that we got stoppy right there at the high of the day, but we got right back into it. It just didn't. once we broke and took the 200 again, I sort of thought maybe the short might be on, so we'll give it a little bit of room there. And Moderna, we're out of half already. Let's put another bit out right now, and then go up to 57, like 80s near that top if we can get something, in and around there. There we go. We get another 57 level. And we just got to wait now for Amazon. Our trades are in. They're ready to go. Amazon looks like it's getting pretty excited to the upside right now, especially with this market heading lower, Amazon heading higher. So that's kind of telling me right now, not something to get back into if it doesn't go right now. We're giving it a shot up here at 272.
Market's topping.
The market. Well, the NASDAQ is, tumbling.
NASDAQ's topping it.
Yeah, topping. You mean tumbling or?
Well, topping, I mean. No,
oh, yeah, well, maybe, yeah.
Sorry, when I say topping, I mean like topping tail candle. Like reversing
yes.
Is what I meant. So, yeah, apologies. That gets it's not very clear. No, we just failed the high on the NASDAQ and are starting to pull back. So everything I'm looking at is pretty weak. So it's like a hold short, be patient for long kind of situation. AMD's breaking the low of the day. NVIDIA was strong. Maybe it is strong. NVIDIA's blasting higher, actually.
Oh, is
so
it?
This is like NVIDIA's through 217 and it wants an all-time high here. This is definitely the one that is going. That Navitas stock is incredibly strong. Watch out for USO because it could, if we break down underneath that 136 level, that could be a little bit bullish for things overall. And we are holding the lower end of the range on USO. I'm still only in Alibaba. So you got that $0.50, 137 into like 136 low. Needs to take that next leg down. If I go to the 15 just to show you, looking to fill this gap, it's about 135 in here. So 135 is the target here on Alibaba and still being patient waiting for this IBIT. One big red candle on the 15 to start out with, waiting for 45.5. We're sitting at 81 and a quarter thousand. 81,000 and a quarter here on Bitcoin, so a little bit more to go downside before I'm looking for the dip by long here in IBIT.
All right. I like that. So I don't know. I think the market's just a little too strong right now. We were able to get out of some of that, but a very small piece on Amazon. So this one could be the L. We're $1 and change. We're $2 in on Palantir, $1.50 on Moderna, but it looks like we'll give up some of those profits right here again if Amazon winds up breaking higher through. I was just wrong on this one. I thought today Amazon being down a little bit in the pre-market, but they really caught a bid. So congratulations anybody that went the other way here on Amazon. So far so good on that long, but we'll see if it does play. You already brought up ARM. I mean, this was one that I even had to look to see how many shares exactly I was trying to get at 200 because we like 200 so much, but that really bounced off of that pretty clean today, 204 up to 214, $10 straight upside right there in ARM. So we're going to have to watch out for that as well, if it can come into 200. I'm sitting there.
Silver won't even try to dip right now.
No, so I haven't. It's crazy. Yeah, silver's not been indicating anything to me yet. Marvell was a name that started to go a little lower there in the pre. That's starting to bump higher as, the space continues to work out again. Marvell still down, but was down 2 or 3%, I believe, down there to 163, up to 168. That's still starting to work out. And then, apple of my eye so far in this investment sort of period has been Apple. It's been a huge move upside, but that's starting to fade out just a little bit here as well. So to your point, I think I'm in the one name here, that major tech name that seems to be going oppo right now, and that's going to be Amazon. Amazon and Google, at least. NVIDIA's going upside, right? Yeah. So, what about AMD? That's been a fun name to look at, that's for sure. That's starting to break a little lower now, AMD, down into 456. We did talk about Micron earlier on today. That was $800. That's now falling back into 780. Some of the top names say, silver. There's Micron. Just called that up. NVIDIA as well as Intel. People want us to have a quick look at. But Micron back into the 200 period moving average right now on a 1-minute chart. That looks pretty good. 775 right here, trying to protect the day's low. So watch out for Micron. Could be on a nice little run here if we do hold 780.
Intel's still coming in. It's still up a couple points, but that 124. The pattern that it had where just the afternoon support on the gaps up or where you want to look for the buy, it's still only halfway there. It just feels like it's let it get down. The same way I feel about IBIT, although I guess the IBIT does not feel the bit. Dang it. Wow, now Bitcoin is flying.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It was cruising to fill in that gap to 45.5, and now we're blasting through VWAP. So might have to look at this for a potential VWAP trade. The bounce is now in here on Bitcoin. BABA, still haven't really found a reload on that one. Like waiting for it to come back in, retest VWAP, and then pull back. If it can lose VWAP again, then that becomes a reload for me. If not, this market is relatively strong. Don't want to fight it too much, even if a Chinese name doesn't have to follow the Nasdaq in the SPY. Let's go up to the desk to visit Adara for the first time.
Yeah.
Good morning, guys. Not a ton of news, not a ton of move here right now on Disney, not a ton of movement or volume. But we're here, Wall Street Journal reporting that the FCC commissioner is telling Disney that they're seeking to censor it. This comes after we know that the FCC actually hastened the ABC broadcast license renewal timeline over some concerns about comments made by Jimmy Kimmel on ABC. Again, DIS to the downside. Wall Street Journal reporting that the FCC commissioner told Disney they're seeking to censor them. Back to you.
Over the Kimmel, so it's okay.
Well, you can't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Well,
mess with the wrong people, I guess. There, we did.
What they say is F around. Well,
Yeah, and they're going to find out, I guess. Apparently, right now.
you can say that.
Yeah, Amazon, I messed around with Amazon and found out real quick that it was strong. And we had talked about how strong this name possibly was. We take the L there on Amazon, just kept on going up, up, and away. Bye-bye, Amazon. Wrong on that one. I thought maybe we were headed to the downside as we were looking for something to do there. And we picked the wrong stock on Amazon, upside there for that one. But Micron, I still don't mind it, but you know, it's got to break a little lower there. Look at that. We just talked about holding on to 780 there on Micron. Now 795 and looking to get higher now, Micron. I got to add Micron to my board right now. This is just nuts. 780 Micron. Silver, I don't know what you do with silver. I still want to get back into Amazon.
It's basically, the thing is, like, you saw so many things pull back off of the open. Like, the futures were able to pull right back into VWAP, and we just sat here and silver just made another fresh high. It just consolidated. So maybe the next time it consolidates, there could be something. But this is absolute rocket ship that we are seeing in the metals. When you juxtapose that, like gold, GLD just pulled into the green. So it's not just SLV. Like both of these are going absolutely ham. The only thing I have on, I'm still looking for that VWAP reload on Alibaba. It just hasn't gotten back in there. Maybe one more spike up and we'll try to grab it. Intel not doing a heck of a lot. It might just have to be IBIT at VWAP. A little bit of a topping tail. Still putting in lower high. Like that's still a lower high, still a lower high. But that VWAP hold should be key here. Potential for IBIT to try to continue. Or we still wait for that 44, 45.5. That Navitas continues. For all those that are watching this one, NVTS, we got a super chat about that. That's now 21 and a quarter. So this gapper is absolutely flying as the market just hit another NASDAQ just hit another all-time high. ES probably, I haven't looked. ES close.
I mean, NVIDIA's at all-time highs. It's just ripping. Everything.
Yeah, whatever. Let's just say the Nasdaq's at an all-time high, so the ES is probably an all-time high.
Everything is going.
Everything is absolutely ripping. At some point, that's likely to extend to Alibaba. For now, it's holding and possibly giving me a reload potential here, but man, this market is flying.
Yeah, I know, not much other than upside right here, it seems like, in this market for now. I mean, there's NVIDIA 220. I mean, I don't know where this name's going to stop right now. So we are really, really loving the old portfolio these days. And a lot of people were wondering about NVIDIA versus the rest of them. And yeah, NVIDIA right now is saying, hey, this was our dream, man. Everybody's on top of our coattails right now. And enjoy the ride because we're taking it here. So there goes NVIDIA. I was looking at ARM as a potential short just because of how far up this thing's gone into 213, 214. So, but we do understand, again, you know, another name that won't stop going when it wants to go. So we do have a little bit of a worry here with ARM going higher. I'm not in it, but that would be something that we're looking for there with ARM. We only have, I don't know what it was, 20 or so % left on Palantir. Potential reload spot here for PLTR in the short. But do we actually even want to go short there? We just talked about all-time highs. We're talking about, you know, all these big moves happening. And here I am thinking about going the oppo right now. We did get, too bad. Our short 136 did get squashed in the first 2 minutes of the game. And then it was a nice downside play. So we did get back to positive on Palantir. We're still going to be red on Amazon as that's dancing around. And we've got a good trade here, I feel like, in Moderna. I mean, good outs. We got about 30% left on this one. Waiting for 57, just making sure Actually, I'm at 57.80, so let's go back in here again. 57.30 for MRNA. We'll put an offer there. You guys let us know if there's anything else you're looking at there. IONQ, people talking about here in the chat. We can have a quick little look at IONQ. Oh, wow. I actually talked, wow, okay. We talked about what I liked IBM for quantum kind of plays, but get into a pure play right now with IONQ.
Intense.
Yeah, still going upside right there. We're looking at $55. I guess if we could break above there, but right into some chop area here as we go. So good level there for IONQ, going higher there as well. Yeah, there's so many names. DX1.
It's now NVIDIA.
Yeah, that's going to be the monster.
220 level here for NVIDIA. Look, whether it breaks 220 clean or not, maybe look for a bit of a pullback off the 220. I mean, it wouldn't have been at the front of the mind, I don't think, for a lot of people, but 217.5 was the prior high. Call it 217.80. If it is going to dip off that 280 level, or 220 level, that 218 does look as good as any. Intel, on the other hand, does not look strong at all. Not weak enough to go short. Yeah, not weak enough to get to 124 yet, but underneath that VWAP, for sure. That is a false break of the high. Hold under the volume-weighted average price look over there for Intel. AMD really not doing much either. By the way, USO is breaking the low of the day as we speak, which could strengthen the markets. I just paid for my battle shares because I actually didn't have any to the downside there. But reloading all I'm doing is going to reload on Alibaba because that seems to hold weakness.
All right, we've got a good one right here, man. Hopefully it props it up. Let's see what happens with Intel. We just went shorted. It's going to be, a decent size there. We'd like to get some out, obviously, there it is. Yes, sir. Whoo. We wanted Intel, man. Intel was one of the top plays here. It was the top play on the note. It doesn't have to get to the levels to trade it exactly, so it doesn't. So we take it there. It was holding VWAP. Nice downside push there for Intel. And there it is, man. All three positions we have now are dollar clubs as we speak. So let's see if we can keep that momentum going right now. Loss on Amazon, that is for sure. But as NVIDIA catching a pop at 220, Intel's going the other way. But we're still... we'll celebrate the win because whenever you're shorting Intel and you get a move down, you should be excited for it. But is it going to be long lasting? Who knows? We're going to wait for 128 flat, which is coming in right now. So there it comes. Hopefully we get it. We're sitting at 128.07. We just missed that by a little bit. Still could rip our face off, so we're already out of 20%. We'll get out of another 10% or so at 128 if that happens. And then we'll wait for the low, and we'll give that another little bit of a go here on that one. There's Moderna. That's the dollar. That's trying to bounce off 57. Maybe we get out of a little bit there, and then Palantir is a dollar as well, hovering. I almost went short Palantir there. At these levels as well. So, that's another look for me coming in. And you guys wanted Intel, so there it is. You wanted silver. We had a little bit of a talk there. I'm in three positions now, man. Intel, mRNA, and Palantir all fit this criteria of our note. So far, so good. And silver, yeah, as Neil said, not really pulling back at all. 77.50 for silver as high-ho.
It's hard for
upside.
Silver.
We go.
Yeah, it's hard to chase on SLV without any particular catalyst, but we just broke, here, I'm going to zoom in so you can see us a bit better. We just broke above VWAP, so first shot on Alibaba, got into the low. We just had a topping tail candle. I'm not jumping back in unless we hold underneath that volume-weighted average price. If we double topped underneath support, great, but I can always re-enter into the trade later. I was just sort of saying on silver, it's not one that I'm inclined to take up top here. I just can't. And I know the look was, okay, silver on the daily chart looks strong. Absolutely is. I like the continuation, all of that good stuff. But it just, this crazy uptrend that started at 73, it's breaking it right now. And sometimes it's how it is. I can look at something because it's in play and I prefer it to the long side. And then the first trade available, is it busting a trend line, which is exactly what just happened here on SLV. So that's sort of one of those is what it is kind of moments. Would have liked to have been long this, but from that breakout where volume came in to this recent high is a clean trend break that I will look into VWAP here on SLV. So give it to the prior bar high, which will just be the HOD. Well, actually, it's not the HOD, just slightly underneath the high of the day, and then play back into the volume weighted average prices to play for me on SLV. Gold and silver both very, very strong. But going to play the reversion anyways. USO still holding on to some support, so that's worth a watch for the next leg for the market, which has been so strong today.
Yeah, and we say bye-bye, ciao. Right now, we get that price on Intel that we wanted, man. We get 127.75. So we ring the register there on $1.60 for Intel. So that's going to be a good one. $1.60 now in the, wow, that's a good lucky number. Now $1.80, $2 now on Moderna as, again, like this is another name. And if you're looking for notes, man, just go find them. We got the sticky note out every single day. It has Moderna written down long at $55. So its long was 55.20. We're lucky enough to get it at 55.90, and there that one goes back upside. Come on, Intel, man. Like I said, everything's $1 plus in the money. Intel now getting to the downside. So here we go, man. Where is that gap fill coming for on Intel right now? So let's zoom out just a little bit. 127. That could be our next little stop. We had some highs there come into play. That is your 50-period moving average as well on a 5-minute chart. So 127. That would be a monster if we're able to get something like that there. Okay, here we go, man. Now $1.40 over there. It's too bad about Amazon because that one's really ripping. We could maybe, if we think the short is in, maybe we could think about reshorting Amazon, but that was definitely, oh boy. Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go, man. We just sit in here. Now we're $5 in the money on these 3 positions. So it's been so far so good here. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Neil's finally, okay, there you got your way into silver. So hopefully there's something over there.
Well, I have to go the other way. It is what it is.
That's fine. It's same, yeah. Good for you. Yeah, here we go.
Make sure you have stops and always trade with stops, man. The other day, I was in the Intel trade, actually. When was it Intel when the news came out? No, it was IBIT, but I had orders on Intel. No, it wasn't IBIT. It was something else. It was BMNR. That's the one. That's the example. I was in the BMNR trade all morning long at the low of the day, just shorting it, low of the day, and then it broke the trend here, had to stop, and look what went. Absolutely parabolic. Always. Anyone can do whatever they want to do. I say always trade with stops. I'm not here to tell anyone what they're doing.
No, we always say that. It's
like you go to the bathroom, like anything can happen. So with a bit of a topping tail here, if we break down to 77, I'll move the stop into break even. IBIT is still trying to hold VWAP. No hold of VWAP. No pull the gap into 45.5. So still no trade for me over there in IBIT. Unfortunately, just hasn't happened yet.
A couple nice comments. Thanks, Blicky. Yeah, we're locked in. I try to be locked in every day, but it is more about just, that Intel trade, that NVIDIA trade was a good one to the long side. Well, just how that was ripping. Amazon obviously ripping there as well to the upside. Those were bad ones. Or bad to not be in NVIDIA, but I'm happy to be back into Intel. Intel's an absolute monster. So if you want to talk about getting locked in, I'm locked in, obviously. Thanks for that comment there, but I just want to give you guys an idea. If this is locked in, I mean, we already put this out at 8 a.m. or 8:30 that we were looking for the Intel short, and we found it, right? And so that was a good trade there. Neil's short, although he mentioned we liked the long, but sometimes things change, obviously. Moderna long, and then there's the look. We always talk about sort of the integrity.
$4 to go on.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, we talk about the integrity of the show, and it's like we have the ability to change our minds and also talk about trades that don't go our way, and that was one right here with Amazon. But everything else seems to be locking in, so to speak, for the trade right now. I'm noticing that Intel might be on a little bit of a move back up right now, so we're going to get some more out there. Okay, well, maybe not. We get out at 50, and then we just take another bid there in the 20s on Intel. Let's see if it wants to come back in. I have no more bids, man. I was actually looking to get shorter on Intel, but that just didn't come through. So right now, guys, look at this trading that we have on board, and I want to thank everybody for their nice comments again. We've been doing this all last week as well. 130 there, that's $2 in the money. Moderna's now, these are honest trades, man. They're all, you can see them here. That's $2 in the money as well. And then now Palantir's $1.30 in the money. After we got stopped out on Palantir there, but like we said, man, back into Greensville, that name. We'll have one red name today. It's going to be Amazon. So it was so far so good. And then I almost shorted ARM. I'm going to look to see what it's at. So, okay, nothing really going on there. If we went short, it would be right around here, and we'd have to use this high. So I feel like I don't want to make a mistake with ARM because it's above VWAP, it's above the 200, it's above all of that. So we have to figure that all out. We did mention the strength in quantum potentially for a name like IBM, but that's not happening. It's QBTS, it's IONQ, it's all these pure plays today that are starting to go up to the upside, right? QBTS up 3%, IONQ was up 5 or 6 the last time we looked at it, I believe. 10 now, wow, okay, 10% upside. I wanted to look at IREN to see, because that had a notes offering today, a convertible bond, and you can see, yeah, that really was a great buy down there at 53, a name that I was looking to get into. Wow, we're almost $3 in now, as I don't know, man, Intel is really losing the bid. I'm going to try to hold this for a little while longer. Maybe there's a change here of tide for Intel. And then one more, I'm going to go see what Neil's up with that silver trade. Big Bear AI right now, just straight up there, but you know, this is exactly where we're long at $4.20. So we'll go bear hunting a little bit here with Big Bear AI and just let this one settle down a little bit. So yeah, I think it's NVIDIA's world today, right?
Well,
is it pulling back?
NVIDIA just pulled back.
Oh yeah, okay,
So
okay.
I'm looking at two names right at the volume weighted average price. One, IBIT, which I'm favoring. I was favoring longs at 45.5, but if it's going to hold higher lows above and break out above VWAP, I take a shot there. But NVIDIA as well. Well, NVIDIA's at VWAP. So let's be real. It did dip that 2020 level, but a couple of bottoming tails here. Once it can hold some grain, I think that can be a continuation play. So those are the two names I'm watching, IBIT, obviously, and NVIDIA, in addition to my binary play on SLV, which is break the trend. Sometimes it's just like the setup just happens. I wanted to be long the stock. If it got to VWAP first, I probably would have been long originally, but we broke a trend line, so just give it to the prior bar high. And that's what we wait for. DJ the Menace has a super chat out there. So if we can throw that one up, Andre, well, NVIDIA just lost VWAP, so that's not happening as it's absolutely flushing. Do you guys think that a stock like JD can pop off because of the meeting in China? Doesn't JD report this week? I mean, I suppose, yeah, JD reports this week, but anything can happen at this meeting. We have Wednesday, I think. We got Hassett going on Wednesday, and then, of course, like later on this week, the rest of the delegation. But your guess is as good as anybody's as to how the meeting is going to go. Like, how many meetings have we had? Is there any real deal? Have they settled anything with Taiwan? No. So it's certainly possible. I would just think that earnings are the first big hurdle that you have to worry about for JD. That's the first thing. Let the earnings dictate, and then try not to guess what's going to happen geopolitically, because that's a almost impossible thing to do. Adara, it's 10 o'clock. We have one number today, and we're getting it now.
Oh. That's cool. Let's take a look here at existing home sales. 4.02 million, a little bit below the consensus estimate of 4.05 million, and above the prior print of 3.98 million. Existing home sales change 0.2% versus 2% forecast, a negative 3.6% prior. So again, guys, for both existing home sales and existing home sales change, you get a number that's below the forecast, but above the prior print. At 10:30 a.m., President Trump speaking at a healthcare event, I believe maternal healthcare. I'll be covering this for you guys in case there are any market-related comments that are made. Let's talk about this market here. This is the 1 minute chart. I'll switch to the 3 minute to give you guys a bit of a wider look here. Nice pop off the open. Consolidations and continued pushes to the upside. Current high of day for the SPY around 739s. If you take a look at the NASDAQ, you're going to have a completely different picture. We make that high early and now pushing a little bit lower here into that pre-market support zone, more or less. Let's take a look at some of these other names on watch today. Circle, one of a handful of earnings plays on watch. CRCL actually missed on sales but beat on EPS. You've also got the likes of CEG, Barrick, and Monday, which also reported before the bell. After the bell, you get the likes of Plug Power, ASTS, and Hims & Hers Health, HIMS. Keep an eye here as well on LITE, Lumentum Holdings. Not an earnings play, but they did have a catalyst here of their own. CSGP CoStar Group getting booted off the NASDAQ. Lumentum will join in its place. Make sure to like and subscribe as we send you back over to Sean and Neil.
All right, thank you very, very much, Adair. We're just getting out some more Moderna here for $3 off of the sticky note level of $55. But if you're wondering what your trading would look like if capital wasn't a constraint, well, that's the reality for most traders. It's not skill holding them back, it's size. Trade the Pool changes that. Well, most of the time it's skill, but step into the U.S. equity markets with up to $200,000 in buying power without committing your own capital. Full access to stocks and ETFs, both long and short, executed with the precision and freedom serious traders expect. Your performance is measured by one standard, disciplined risk management, and consistent execution. Meet the standard and operate at scale. No subscriptions, no ongoing obligations, just a clear path forward. For those ready to trade beyond limitations, this is the next level. Visit Trade the Pool. Oh my God, Randy, thank you so much. Visit tradethepool.com, one word.
Impeccable.
And please use Trader TV, one word, Trader TV, to get your 10% off. Randy, please do not look at the trades because then I will have to buy you brisket there today. So no. So we're not going to review them. Yeah, we're not going to review them at all right now. So we'll just say thank you so much for that one, Randy, for the coffee, and it's been a good day over here. But so you're into basically like two commodities over here, Bitcoin and silver. So that's
that wasn't necessarily the look. It wasn't necessarily the original plan of action. Although, do we call Bitcoin a commodity?
What else do we call it? What is it? Yeah, I think so. Why not? What is it then? A coin?
Yeah, like I've heard that one before, and there's some logic to it, but I don't know. Some people would push back on it.
I was going to say, I think there's like a hot debate as to whether or not it's a commodity, right? Like some people are like it's a commodity, some people think it's an equity.
I have no.
That's been
I have no
hot
horse
debate.
in the race.
I think either way it exists and it's Bitcoin.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, either way, these two things are going in opposite directions. Most of that is probably, look, I want to be bullish on silver today. Like that's the plan of action. So it could easily get into VWAP here and be a bounce reversal. Call it 64 and a quarter. Sorry, 76 and a quarter. Why did I just say 64? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But IBIT also broke through VWAP. So IBIT broke back through VWAP, a series of higher lows, give it to the prior bar underneath that volume weighted average price, played into the high. We're at 81 and a quarter again, so we haven't been able to bust through that. But there's a little bit of room, like 46.4 on IBIT would be the ultimate target if we break out that top. So a little bit of strength starting to come into IBIT for the first time. And then SLV, again, just a reversion play. Silver is a breakout on the daily chart. It's a breakout this morning. Like all of those things look incredibly strong. At some point, it's going to go. Someone says a con-modity is what Smith & Wesson just said. Con-modity.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're not a Bitcoin bull. Smith & Wesson in the chat. That's fair. I mean, look, I guess not everybody believes in crypto, which is perfectly fine. Like, there's what asset is universally believed in?
I think there's not a lot of belief in. I think there's really not a lot of belief in Bitcoin. I mean, we talked about.
A lot of skeptics.
We talked about around here, like, I mean, I can speak for myself that I bought 66,000, but I didn't hear like a lot of enthusiasm when it was down here, and I think it could still come back in. So like, I'm enjoying this move higher right now in IBIT, and like we said, we're just here trading it. We're day traders, we get in and out of stuff, and they're flat by 4. But yeah, a little nervous about it not breaking through too much more here, and kind of the troubles it's having at 80,000 and this sort of gap fill. But yeah, we were not lucky enough. We just stood in there and we saw some support and we bought it. So we bought some Bitcoin down there, 66,000. We talked about that, of course, there on this show. But so just there was a good out for Palantir. Like I was debating reloading this again up here at the 200 period. Generally speaking, that is a spot for me to look at. For names, I like to see names come up there around the 200 period moving average. So I think I'm going to go again on Palantir. I do know the market starting to get a little spicy at these levels. Like we're holding VWAP right now. We're starting to tick a little bit higher. There we go. We'll take a short now. This name, I can see myself not being in this for an incredible amount, but I'm going to use. Get over here, man. Stupid, dumb mouse. Although I still think it's the screen setup. I'm going to use this as my 135.20. So I will cancel our past stop on this name. We could hit the reloaded button. I guess it was. It's not. I'm not putting a huge amount of risk into this name. 135. Let's just go 50s, where I'll give it a little bit more room there, back up to the upside. Intel's making its way back up. We only have about 20 and change % left on this one. So those were good outs. Remember when we zoomed out, we talked about this gap fill right there. So those were good outs, man. And you have to take those when they're there. And we talked about 127 possibly being a good fill up. So majority of our trade was out there. So short 129.50 all the way down to 126 and change. So definitely like that trade. And then the most recent position there is Palantir. So we can have a quick look there as well. NVIDIA has been a big name that a lot of traders, me and Neil and I just talked about that, breaking through that 220, then now oopsies, there it is, pulling back in again. But look at that bounce, clean off VWAP again. So, definitely something to look at on that one. Palantir now doing what it's doing. So yeah, just a little easier there. Every crypto coin. Okay, what's up, Jay Lee? I don't even know what you're saying, but I'm just going to put this up here because I haven't read it yet. But because we just had to talk about crypto. And
oh yeah,
let's see what you have to say. I have no idea here. Every crypto coin is vulnerable to 51% attacks. Yeah, I don't know. The AI ramp up will create a situation where it's easy to do this. Yeah, I think there's a reason why I brought up IBM and some of the quantum plays, and you're seeing IONQ today. I don't know, Darren, are we getting a story from IONQ? I think it might be like a quantum conference starting soon or something. I thought I heard something a little.
I haven't seen much about that, and I'm pretty on top of the conferences. I know there's a healthcare conference this week. Both AMD and Intel have their shareholder meetings on the same day on Wednesday. I have not seen anything of a quantum conference. I'll look into it.
Okay, yeah, I kind of made that up.
I know D-Wave reports this week.
They do. They report tomorrow.
Yeah, so but there's somebody else.
Some sort of motivation.
There's two reporting. D-Wave. I'm only saying D-Wave because I own it, but there's another one that's also reporting this week, I believe. If I'm not. I could be wrong about this. For sure I know D-Wave is reporting.
I don't think ARKQ, which is not, of course, in quantum. It's in nuclear. That's tomorrow after the bell. There's a story here that seems related to IONQ. Apparently, there's some initiative with two other companies that will incorporate advanced computation and modeling, including quantum optimization enabled by trapped ion systems from IONQ. So IONQ very tangentially related to this announcement made by the King's Foundation and Formation Q.
Okay, so some kind of story there. Oh, I missed the word.
But I told you, Dara, I said every time you say tangentially, I am going to hit the word of the day.
Yes.
Which I'm not going to hit it a second time for the other time that it just got said, obviously, or that it's just the can of worms. Just very quickly, SLV bounced hard off of VWAP here.
Ooh.
Like it just went 76 quarter and then flew back up to 76 half. So it was trend break. That's this. There you go. From volume here at about 73, break, trend break, high, yada, 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 that stuff. So going to be out of that, but IBIT is starting to maybe pull back a little bit. So this was going. It was just sliding higher, nice and gradual. I wanted to hold VWAP here. As we come back in, I'll look for a rebuy here on IBIT, Bitcoin, whatever, same sort of thing. Augustus Plays just put a super chat in. There was a merger approval, I guess, on INQ. I didn't see this I didn't see that. We'll go to Adara here, maybe, but that was just a super chat we just got. I was going to throw it up there, and we'll go to Adara.
I saw a different comment in the chat about that. I want to clarify that's a day 2 move on that acquisition. That was announced as of 12:30 p.m. I think that was approved as of Friday. I just checked that. Skywater, IONQ, this is not a day 1 play. So I just want to clarify, only day 1 news is, again, that weird tangential trapped ion systems thing that is related to IONQ, but not directly so. YSS is tumbling here, guys. This is York Space Systems. Wolfpack Research announcing a short position in this stock. Furthermore, getting comments from the atomic energy chief of Iran saying that their nuclear technology is not part of the talks and uranium enrichment is non-negotiable for them. So more, I guess, comments coming here from Iran as we send you back over to the guys.
I'm not a huge fan of short selling report companies, but if you're gonna be in that game, you better have a kick-ass name. And Wolfpack is pretty cool.
That's a good one. I like that one.
I can't hate. That's also the Hangover, right? They call themselves.
Yeah, it's also Scott Hall and Razor Ramon and X-Pac and all that. They had
Razor Ramon.
All that going on. Yeah, legend.
Yeah. I've seen clips. There's clips of him. He was on some talk show or whatever, and he comes, some kid, I guess, Make-A-Wish or whatever,
Yeah.
One Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
He's pure, just 100%, in character.
These guys are all good
doing
guys.
everything, and it's you gotta be. Some of those dudes, it's just, good.
Wrestling, because they're such good actors too, right? So they have to be.
They're really good.
They know their roles at certain points.
So you're pulling back here a little bit.
Know your role.
And shut your.
Yeah, exactly.
Know your role.
That's why a lot of them get into acting, right? I mean, there's some huge. Look at the new He-Man. It's got Cody Rhodes. It's got.
Cody.
It's got Roman Reigns is in that one name as well.
We sip it at the same
Coffee's
time.
such a nice, tasty treat. Okay, looks like wow. There we go, man. We short. Sometimes shorting Palantir is not a great call. And there it goes, man. We shorted Palantir again at 135, so we got to hit the fail on that one. We talked about, like I said, man, the good trades. This is not a good one there for Palantir. I got to have Rob have a look at this. It's starting to really piss me off. Palantir up to 136 again. That's probably the area. Wow. Okay. Or not the area to short. Okay, Palantir's on one a little bit. I'm going to try to take advantage of this sort of move here out of nowhere where the futures aren't doing anything and Palantir's saying, yeah, we're going upside right now. Watch out for that 136 break right now for Palantir. I don't know. It's one of those names here where it's still down 1.5%. I'm nervous about that whole Claude bot, and I sort of did talk about, where that's coming for Palantir's lunch and not trying to get too much into Palantir anymore on the long term and actually looking to get a little bit more out of PLTR. We don't want to influence, okay, well, there's a nice pullback. We should take advantage of that. There we go. I don't want to try to it's like right there, we just make back what we lose there on Palantir, but at the same time, you don't ever want to have a losing trade, and averaging into something's not great, but we did notice that 136 right there, that was going a little parabolic for no reason. I got to watch out how I'm using the word parabolic and not use that on a 70 or $1.50 move. But there's Palantir, boom, right back to the downside. So easy come, easy go on that one, now back through 135. Let's see if it wants to give it up again. We always just getting a little stopped out there. We just got to hold a little longer, but there it is. All right, we do have SMR going as well. What's up, Apollo? Do you see that? Is that a super chat?
It is. I was literally.
Okay, you got it. Okay, good.
As we speak, and how come nobody talks about VRT?
I really like Vertiv, but
Vertiv has been mentioned. I get it, not every single day.
Oh boy, wow.
You're not covering every stock every single day, but we've mentioned this. I would like to hope so. I'd like to hope that we've mentioned Vertiv. It's a fantastic stock. It's not a day trading stock. I don't think anybody day trades it. It's only done like $1 million in volume. It's going to have Adara would probably like it on days they report. Okay, there you go. Like Adara, that's exactly the kind of symbol that she would look at. But this is a nice, boring, upward trend where we have lots of big parabolic ones. So I think that sometimes that counts against you, right? I don't know another way to put it. Like a lot of times on a daily basis, you're going to be talking about the more exciting and crazier runners as opposed to something which is just steady Eddie and going up. So nothing against Vertiv. I'm not going to hate on them at all. People are saying BE and SMR and that stuff.
Bloom?
Higher.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at Bloom today.
Yep.
I have looked at SMR.
Down. Oh my
Still waiting for that swing opportunity in SMR, but BE another 10%. You got to be kidding me! That stock is an absolute rocket ship. But yes, all I'm looking at right now is a reload potential here in IBIT. Silver, we're done. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty hefty bounce off VWAP. It's not a chase, so the trade on SLV will end up being not the one expected, but it was still a trend break. You're going to play it. I'm going to play that every single chance that I do see it. And then one name we did not mention, I don't think we mentioned this one today. We did in the context of the earnings, but Circle ends up bouncing clean 50 and 200 period moving averages at about 106 on the daily, and now it's back above the volume weighted average price. So this seems like a bit of a potential full V-shaped recovery name if the market wants to go back into the highs. But I gotta respect the fact that I was looking short in Alibaba. We shorted the VWAP because it didn't fill in the gap. Now it's attempting to fill in this gap into the prior high, which is about 139.5. So if it breaks the trend, I can short it here, kind of like the silver trade. If it continues higher, maybe we short it up there somewhere. The trend break happens over here. I don't know when it's going to break the trend line. So still in the IBIT trade, looking for that VWAP bounce, looking for the second, or I guess the third salvo in Alibaba for the short. They report Wednesday. Good luck to them. I still own some Alibaba.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
I'd say I wish I did, but it's a long-term position. I sold 2/3 of it and have been asking myself, when would I want to buy back in? And you know what? It's been almost a year. I haven't come up with an answer positively. I am still in IBIT long, by the way. The position board might be wrong there.
Okay, yeah, mine.
Yours are right?
Yeah, Intel, Moderna, Palantir. Yeah, so mine's right, but we'll get that loaded up for you. Yeah, I was lucky enough to, buy Bob at 160, then sell it at 160, and lucky enough to pay fees over to my broker because, it was not a year ago. It was just a couple of months ago, actually, right into here, where we thought we was breaking out right there. So we had a good, feel like we did have a good call. We didn't get anything out. It does make that move up there on 160, right into here, that little break there. And then once it broke back down below, it was right this day here. I was like, oh my God, what have we done? I did not, and all of a sudden didn't like some of that news right there. And it might have even even been here, but it gives us an opportunity. So I got in at like 160 and a quarter, out at like probably 159.75. So flat on that one before this happened, and didn't get out of, well, got out of everything that we bought there at 160. We still have, as Neil said, some legacy Alibaba shares as well. So
I like that, legacy.
Yeah, legacy shares. Yeah, that's pretty much what I calling all my positions now. We recently bought. We bought some.
Can't call it legacy.
No, but some of the positions I have are 25 years old. All right, so CEG right here, new position, not legacy position. I bought some of this name, man. I thought, the power name could work out. Not really, though. Today we said, we could not turn this one into a legacy trade. As it's not like the rest of them, man. I don't know. It doesn't have that IREN bump. It doesn't have, the sexiness of the Oklos or the SMRs behind it. So we'll wait to see what happens here with Constellation off of day 2. Day one play there. Today's day 1, or reported this morning. That would be a play there. So we did get a little bit more reloaded. We have a thing for that one on Palantir. I don't know. We don't have any. Wait a minute. Where's my bids? I don't have any bids down here? Okay, we should be bidding something at 50. That's my bad. Okay, well, we take a 50 fill right there. We just got more reloads up there at 136. So take 50 cents. We're only 20 cents in the money, but take that 50-cent lot there and see if it can come back in just a bit. I don't have any bids down here, so I got to put some more down near 135. That's where we've been bouncing. That's where your 200 period moving average is. So let's go to 135.10. We'll see if we can get out of a decent amount there. Try to get out of a quarter if that wants to hit. Oh, actually, I do. What am I talking about? I have a 135.15. Let's cancel our 10s for the same amount too. Okay, that's good. So if it does come in there, we'll put that out, and that's part of it, man. Always make sure that you do clean up your orders. You never know where you have them bidding and offering, and especially if you're a crazy guy like me, you could be layering them everywhere. And sometimes then when it tanks, you don't have enough shares left because you've gotten out. So we are now watching out for those positions. Moderna, unfortunately, guys, we have 5% left, and it's not unfortunate, but these were all great outs right into there. So Moderna off the sticky note today, $55. We worry about the hantavirus a little bit, and not that worried, but the stock has treated well. And, they reported that they already have multiple sort of, what do they call those things? Oh, yeah, vaccines. Forgot about how effective those are. Those vaccines right now will be hopefully in play if this gets a little worse, which hopefully it doesn't. So we'll wait to see what Moderna's price looks like in a couple weeks when hopefully that virus is no longer talked about. We could see some downside plays.
Ideally.
But ideally. There's about a week now of upside, and we kind of just joined the party, right, with that name. All right, so pull back in. We're bidding 135.15. We talked about that. This is where normally I'd get mad because I'm like, oh man, I'm missing it. Like, I don't want to not take a 25 and then just for 10 cents I miss the trade. But I'm going to sit there at 135.15 and sort of not change my bid. Maybe it will come down in and give me a little touch. We did notice that ARM earlier today. I think we all talked about it. There it is. Yes, sir. There's Palantir. Let's go again. But we were waiting for ARM. Yeah, I thought we were going to get 200. So I went down there. I did double check. It's like basically 15-20% of what I'm looking for in the position. I have not started an ARM position yet, but I will do that in and around $200. Do believe in the company. Do believe in what ARM is selling. So yeah, I'm a buyer of ARM, and yeah, down here I'm even more of one, down near that 180 marker. But there it is, man. $1 on our reloads of Palantir up there at 136. Let's see if we can break lower and get into that 134.50 again for PLTR. All right, man. So far so good. Intel's working. We've got a couple good positions working on for us, and we've got Adara working hard in the back. Let's go find out what she's up to.
So what I'm up to, Sean, is what these small caps are up to. Let's kick it off here with MEHA, Functional Brands. They've got a letter of intent here executed to acquire assets of Bullion FX for roughly $143 million. This is a penny stock. As we speak, it's pushing higher here into that prior resistance level of 20 cents. Let's take a look here at ASPI. This name was discussed this morning. It also was featured on our morning watch list. ASP Isotopes announces that one of their subsidiaries has a memorandum of understanding for some HALEU supply, HALEU supply. So good look for ASPI. They do have a short float of just under 23%. You can find out more about this story on our morning watch list. Last but not least, PLUG. No news on Plug Power that I could find, but they do report after the bell, as I mentioned earlier. Not as small of a market cap per se compared to some of the other names. You've got a $5 billion market cap in PLUG. You also have a 26% short float. Back to you.
5 million?
Bill.
Okay, maybe I just thought I misheard. For a plug. No, but IBIT just lost VWAP in here. So first time through, broke, couldn't quite get to the HOD. But remember the prior bar on the VWAP break, that's where the stop was going to be. So just jump out of it. Wait for the original plan, which was fill the gap into 45.5. And if we're looking weak here, which we are, I know like this is a broken record for like things breaking trend. If we're breaking down, then BMNR is threatening a trend line as well. So I looked at IBIT losing VWAP. Obviously, BMNR is an ETH thing. I get it, but they kind of move together, and it's still trending higher. But we break that trend, another play into the volume-weighted average price is going to be a thing. But I got to pay for locates on this because usually BMNR, it's like 50-50 shot whether we have to. It'll be like fractions of a cent here, but this one kind of came out of nowhere. This is just like SLV. Upward trending, and then it breaks the trend line, and I'm sure it'll be literally fractions of a cent. It's not going to do it.
No, nothing really costs us anything here anymore.
The only time that we ever pay anything real for a short at real trading is if it's some random 800,000 share stock that you've never heard of that's doing millions of shares and up 700%. Then, actually, I find those to be like a little bit prohibitive. Oh, that's right. BMNR is on the New York now.
I just think,
why is this not working? Because I just typed in .am for BMNR, and it's now on the NYSE.
Here's a question. I want to thank Mark for this question. This is an interesting one to both of us. Please, you're trying to day trade, so you have limited capital. That's fine. How do I share the capital between long-term holding and trading? I mean, I think you just got to find the success rate that you're having, right? I mean, if you're having
most people do separate accounts. That's the
I mean that's I assume that you are doing separate accounts. I just think it's the capital. So it's like if you're doing well on your swing trades or whatever, then sort of allot a little bit more capital towards that. I mean, this is such a hard question for us to answer because we don't know the age, we don't know anything that you are, Mark. Like I would say, day trading is hard enough as it is. That if you're getting ready to retire or you're thinking about that, then maybe don't risk so much capital into trading, AST Mobile or, IREN or something like that, because in one day you could lose your 10%, but if you believe in those kind of companies, then that's where you switch over and say, well, down 10% might actually be a good buying opportunity if it was something that was more a long-term feel for you. So I do think it's a very tough question, and I want to thank you for asking it, first of all, but it's a tough one for guys like Neil and I to answer because of that exact reason. There's so many variables that are involved there, but that's a maybe people in the chat could help you. Neil and I, we do trade prop. We talk about that. We're at real trading, so we're trading other people's capital. For me, I don't do very much swing trading at all just because I'm in this game and I feel like every day I'm battling the market and looking to make a little bit of money. And sometimes we hear stories like Neil and I do, obviously. We hear things about, different stories, and we try not to have them affect our long-term portfolio, but we're here day trading, so, we do have biases. A lot of that.
I try to think like left brain, right brain. I try to really separate those two things as much as possible. Like if something is a trade or a swing trade, then you set your parameters and don't try to turn it into something else. Because what can happen is you get into, your intention is I'm just going long this because I'm getting in and I'm getting out at this price or before earnings, and all of a sudden it goes parabolic. Great, you take your target, right? That's what you were intending on. It goes against you, and you're like, oh, but I think this company's good. Like, it's so much easier. Like, you'll stick to your plan when you're talking about holding for the profit, but the second that sucker starts going against all that, and I'm not saying that everybody does this, but I am saying that I know a trader, and we knew a trader who would fall for this every single time. Every single time. A trade would turn into, but this company is good. It's like, you can't really do that.
No.
The market's starting to turn off.
Yeah, what's going on with this?
As we're starting to accelerate a bit to the downside. I'm not seeing USO do anything, but the NASDAQ just double topped. Well, you call it quadruple topped on a 15-minute chart, but we just sort of came back here. Here, I'll show you the NASDAQ before we go to Adara. We just came right back in the top on the NASDAQ and a bit of a hefty pullback.
Guys,
the shorts back in favor.
Yeah, I mean, good point there. I was just going to say, I don't know. I just noticed the market. I mean, we're obviously watching Intel here as well, but Intel, for some reason, man, there it goes. Now we're $3 in the money on this one. We're $2 in the money on Moderna right now, and then we're 30 cents in the money on Palantir. So these shorts are really starting to print. It's too bad that we gave some back there when Palantir broke right there. Let's see if it wants to get a little lower. But yeah, Intel really losing right now back in. Okay, well now Intel's really starting to get going as that's near the low. Well, okay, I'm just going to put a bid there at 90. Oh, there it is, okay. I was going to say we'll put a bid at O. There's a lot of volume going through at 126. Oh boy, we say no OB, no problem. As right now we are down in the money now, 340 on this Intel trade as it gets a little lower for us right there. There it is, man. Boom, shakalaka. As we're, he's on fire with this Intel, as many traders, I guess, trading Intel would be. If you're short there today, nice move down in. And again, where are we thinking about this? Oh, I sat down immediately and I told Sharif immediately that we're going to be looking at Intel today. That was obvious. So there it is right here on the note. What does it say? Intel short, dangerous trade, but let's see what this pre-market looks like for now. Seems like we have a weak one forming. So that was that. Moderna, 55 long. Moderna right now at 58 and trying to get higher there. Just bouncing off the 200 period. We have 5% left of that. We just got a piece out. So we have less right now than that one. And then, you know, the trade that's really sort of stung me a little bit back and forth. I'm going to put another bid right now. Why not? Doesn't seem like it wants to go down with the market. Is Palantir, and it's bouncing so nicely off this 25 period moving average. So let's just say, okay, Alex Karp and company, you are the best company ever, and maybe you don't want to go down anymore all of a sudden. So let's just wait, you know, for this one and see if we do get below. We just took a couple fills here in the 20s. I do have another bid breaking below 135, so hopefully that can happen. We'll get one in the 90s, and then after that, we may just get out of all of this at VWAP again. So 134.50, 134.60. If we're lucky enough to get that, then that's what we'll do on Palantir. So just a little bit of a back and forth there. Intel's been an absolute dream today, honestly. I know you've had some good shorts here as the market's starting to fall back in.
It's funny you said VWAP because
yeah. There it goes, man. I mean, you got the BM&R.
It just hit VWAP.
Look what Intel, so I don't know, Adara. I don't think Intel's coming up with any news here, but it's just
up a bajillion.
It's just up a bajillion percent, and now it's finally going red. So here goes Intel, man. We should have reloaded it there. We didn't. My bad. There it goes. Nice little move to the downside. We did get a reload here on Palantir. Let's see if that goes. But other than that, man, so far so good. So good there. You're welcome, Marks. Joe responding to you as well, so that's good. Thanks, Joe. But nothing on Intel, so we'll just sit here and watch this name go 450 now in the money.
Adara? Oh, no? Okay.
No, she just said nothing on Intel.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to Adara for a quick little second, but you just mentioned VWAP, so both these reversion plays into the volume-weighted average price. BM&R, it might even continue to go, but it broke trend, one in, out halfway, and then out at the volume-weighted average price. Alibaba, very similar here, as that just broke the trend line and comes back into VWAP. I'm going to take these both out into, and you know what? It's interesting because all three, with BABA, BM&R, Silver, they'll all be like trend breaks to the upside that just came back in and pull back into VWAP. Adara, now we will go to Adara. It is 10:30, so we still have some time before we get into the midday, but the market is about to take out the LOD.
It's $5.
To clarify, this has nothing to do with Intel. It has some stuff to do with oil. Now, this isn't I don't think super surprising, but Tasnim, which is again Iranian state media, so do with that what you will, they're reporting that Iran has yet to allow a tanker with UAE liquefied petroleum gas here to pass Hormuz. So Iran's still patrolling here the Strait of Hormuz. That's all this story is. We're also supposed to get President Trump speaking at that maternal event here for maternal health care. If I get more details on that, I will let you know. I have the stream open. He has yet to arrive. Lately, he's been closer to 30 to 40 minutes late for each appearance, so keep that in mind as well. Back to you.
Sorry, what was the event he's speaking at?
Maternal health care related?
Oh, right, yeah.
More details.
He knows everything about
more details than they
maternal
normally
health
give
care.
us. So.
Yeah, President Trump in everything right there. So shout out to that. We'll see if he has any comments at all. All right, we talked about, even Neil in the beginning there talked about 124 as a level for Intel. So it's at 124 right now. I didn't think we'd have $5 in the short when it's here, but we do. So we're just covering it. This is a key level. This is where we sort of closed there on Friday. Nice move higher there. Coming in. So we've already sort of passed where we closed, but this was some of those levels there into the afternoon. So wow, what a move down for Intel today. It's still positive. Well, it was positive. We're not necessarily super crazy red or anything yet, but that's a good one. And there it goes, man. We do get our 91 fill. We said that we were sitting at an order a little under 134, 135. It was 91s. So there you go, man. The cat is now out of the bag on that one. We'll see if that wants to get. Yes, go Palantir. Oh boy, this is starting to turn out to be a good day one more time. And good day for BBAI shareholders as well, man. That's up 2%. We'll see where that one's going. Okay, here we go, man. The cat's out the bag. We'll see what happens right now. We'll put another bid at 67, and then we'll watch out right now. There it is. Yes, sir. We do get VWAP down there on Palantir. Let's see how low we can go. Will we break VWAP? Is actually at 134.50. So we'll see if that one can get a little bit lower right now. So yeah, just sitting around, man. We're $8 in the money on these three positions, but it's all Intel. And then Moderna starting to go upside. We just got to try to get our money back here on Palantir. But yeah, so far so good. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Put those names in the chat, man. I mean, you're gonna
want to see the visualizer.
Yeah, the visualizer's been up there. It had SLV on there for a minute.
Well, it's now all about NVIDIA.
Yeah,
so I'm out of Alibaba so that you can see it bouncing off of the volume weighted average price. Today's show brought to you by the volume weighted average price. Like it seems like every single day. But NVIDIA leading the way on the visualizer. Silver makes sense because it went parabolic for reasons unknown. Obviously Micron in there, Navitas. This one I'm not from ODYS. That's the one I don't know. We'll go back to that in a quick little second, but I wanted to, how NVIDIA is bouncing VWAP a second time here. So it looks like this is holding a little bit of strength, but watch out for USO. I don't know if you like any longs if this is going to continue happening over in USO. As that goes higher into the HOD, my first thought is to go over to Battle, which I did pay for locates in BATL. If we fail the high, Battle has resistance at $3, and it's close to $3 as we speak. So I'm watching USO, and it might just be another short the pop play and wait for it to get back into VWAP, as I believe we're going back to Adara on this USO spike.
Yeah, there's certainly a reason for that move in USO, Neil, and that's because President Trump reportedly telling Fox that he's considering renewing Project Freedom. Now, Project Freedom was announced a couple weeks ago by President Trump and his administration. It was their plan to form a coalition to help ships safely pass through the Strait of Hormuz. But after President Trump said they were getting close to a deal with Iran, he announced that Project Freedom would be suspended. Looks like that could be back on, which could suggest renewed tensions, or I guess more heightened renewed tensions between the U.S. and Iran. Back to you.
Yeah, interesting there. I don't like to hear that. If you are thinking that, oil is going to head to the downside, you don't want to hear some of those Project Freedom getting renewed talks there. But all right, we covered some more there. We can take a look quickly here at USO. I already talked about XOM a little bit there today, and I thought that was in a little bit of trouble to the downside. So we'll see USO with a little bit of a bump up as we try to get this all figured out. There's the volume spike in USO. We've done well to go back and forth today. Man, I'm already exhausted. It's 10:34 right now. So we'll have a good day today, and we'll just sort of watch out for that next level to come through. This is XOM right now. Talk about a good level at the day's high, trying to bounce off of 147. But again, with all this sort of positivity right now in oil, might be a little bit of a risk to short that right there at that level. You see here on the daily chart, good level for XOM. I still think it's going lower, but holding right now 145 and change XOM. You know a name that we haven't called up since 9:30, which is crazy because normally we're always all over this name, especially myself. Tesla. Oh, let's go Palantir. Come on, Palantir. That's starting to go downside now as well. Yes. Good, man. We covered a lot of that intel. We've got Palantir. Wow, this is starting to be a day. Tesla right there, 417 coming into play again here. We can have a look to see if there's any kind of a level there. There is, man. This 415, 416 isn't a horrible spot for TSLA right now. But downside play there. And there goes Palantir. It's funny because as we talk a little bit more about hey, man, maybe this war isn't over yet. Palantir for some reason going down when I think it should be going up on that kind of talk. But all right, PLTR, we'll take another cover here at VWAP and see how low you can go and go over to Adara, who's got something for us.
Well, the Iran back and forth continues here. So latest update here, we know President Trump said that they're considering renewing Project Freedom, also saying that Iranian negotiators have apparently told him that the U.S. will have to retrieve, quote, nuclear dust at Iran's destroyed facilities because Iran doesn't have the technology to do it. Now, we heard earlier that Iran has no interest in making any kind of deal that involves the retrieval of its nuclear dust or other nuclear-related products. They also don't want to end their uranium enrichment. So President Trump saying things that are wildly different from anything we've heard thus far from Iran. Back to you.
Well, that seems like a little bit of a par for the course. We're going to continue to always see this, right? Like you hear one thing and then you hear another, and it's the back and forth, the yo-yo action. But this is one of the reasons to try to be patient with the markets. Don't fight anything. Like eventually IBIT did pull, or Bitcoin did pull back in an IBIT to Friday's highs. So there's your bottoming tail candle, at least for now, breaking or holding the second bar close. That's like a 3 minute. So on a 3 minute, there's your flush, there's your higher low. Hold it on the second confirmation. So long. Gonna look for VWAP. I know it sounds like a broken record, but anytime I see a play like this, we're in a downtrend. Like that's lower high, lower high, lower high, fall apart. So it's still a trend break, which means pull back into the volume weighted average price here on IBIT. So want to see it get back into about 45.85, and we'll look for that trade. It's not always that, I don't know, like not every morning ends up like this, where it's, say, trend break there, and it's Alibaba and trend break there as well, and then bounce off the volume weighted average price, and then SLV and trend break there and bounce off the volume weighted average price. Like this is just a weird one where the same setup, which I happen to like, just happened over and over and over again, and then you gravitate towards that, and then I find myself when we're at the lows with, okay, well, what's the stock or the thing, stock doesn't really matter, what's the asset that I'm looking at which set up next, and it happens to be IBIT in this case, and I want that 45.85 we're able to get to. I can already hear we're going back over to Adara for yet another update.
It's not oil related. I just feel like I should let you guys know about that right away. Keep an eye here on NVIDIA, seeing reports that Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, will not be attending Beijing with President Trump, nor was he apparently invited. So we know we heard last week, Semaphore reported that NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, as well as the CEOs of XOM and the other ones were Boeing. There was one more as well. Anyways, these CEOs were invited to come with President Trump. They apparently, according to Jensen Huang and CEO NVIDIA, they were not invited. NVIDIA wasn't invited anyway. They will not be going to Beijing. So again, despite previous reports, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang will not be coming to Beijing, with President Trump. Guys, back to you.
Yes, I was chuckling at that whole, like, you're invited, you're not invited. No, and then I was just putting in I was just moving my stop and actually just punched out of IBIT.
Ooh.
So I'm just going to get back into the price I got out. Look, I was long here in the mid 60s. So the fact that it's going to continue to go higher, I'm just going to get back in where I got out of it. And like ultimately it'll show, if I get fit in the bid, it'll show a different price, but really it's just getting back into the position. If it'll even hit the bid at this particular point, I just found that amusing. You're invited, you're not invited. Like, what is this, high school? Here it doesn't matter. Jensen goes wherever he wants to go. He does whatever he wants to do. His stock hit an all-time high today, so he's absolutely chilling. If we close above 217.5 or something along those lines, I don't see any reason why we're not going to. Then I think fantastic. Because NVIDIA is the one that hasn't gone parabolic. Too big for it to do what AMD does, but it can have its mini parabolic moment coming for NVIDIA. Like it's not, I don't think it's possible anymore for NVIDIA to do one of these, like, hey, you break a consolidation, make a fresh high, and you go $200 from 270 like AMD did, because AMD is smaller. NVIDIA is way too big to pull that kind of a move, but you could see 250. That's at least reasonable, another 10%, 10-15% from here before you even have to worry about it. Of course, IBIT now not really pulling back. I'm just going to leave the bids in there and try to get picked up there on IBIT. Doesn't seem like it wants to happen just yet, but 20 minutes to go till the mid. So far, so good. You're watching oil, and it's pulling back not where I was expecting. I thought maybe you'd run back into the top end of the range on USO, at which point I would look short on Battalion. But we're kind of, you see we're already like cresting at that high. So I might take a quick little nibble here, Battalion, just to get this little mini reversion from about 88, 89 back into the low 80s here. And just watch USO closely. If it makes another break of the high, I can always get out.
Yeah, look, we might have absolutely nailed, like we wrote this down. It's too bad that we're down on this stock because we haven't really gone back to it and looked at it. We wrote down 272 kind of out of nowhere on Amazon, earlier on here on the note. We could put the sticky note there in the chat. You guys can go find it there on X. But it's been pretty good for a level right there, 272, as we bounced around. We tried it early. It was 9:45. I didn't think that was like overly early, but yeah, since then it's kind of been bouncing around. Now we go a little lower, so I just put an offer at 272. Maybe, well, I have one at 75 to get a little taste, and then more there. And then if we break above the 50 period, we can get out. But I think this is well worth giving it just a little bit of room here for Amazon to work. Maybe we do get that. Shoot. I was gonna say maybe we do get a little bit of a bump up here into that level. I'm gonna start it now. So I'm still waiting for 75s, but okay, maybe we get some. I took a little bit there at 51s. We'll see if we get a 75 and then back up there into 272 and then give it into the 30s. I don't know, something about Amazon today. I want to see its reaction there. And this is what it looks like, from Friday. We did have a topping tail today up to 273.50. So trying to go short here on Amazon. I'm going to use these levels as what we're doing. So we'll just take a little starter position here at 50. And it's a decent size, right? But we're still waiting for more. So 271.75 would be a spot. And then our biggest amount would be sitting there at 272. So we'll see if the market wants to go. Good outs there on Intel. We talked about that gap fill, so that was a good one there. Palantir is making its way back up. And again, like Neil said, this show is brought to you by VWAP. I mean, yeah,
hey, it is.
Like I said, I think every day, yeah. But, today especially, we have some good outs, both of us there on VWAP and looking. And IONQ, man, we're going to go to Adair. She's coming up in a second. I just want to, you guys brought this. And I'm saying congratulations. This is a slapper for everybody out there today. You guys brought this to our attention early, man, IONQ. And there it goes. I remember when it was doing this. And I was like, wow, there's no stopping this one today. Yeah, it's up another $6 from that level there. IONQ. Congrats for everybody, man. Yeah, this stock scares me, but there it goes upside on what Adair has reported as not too much news for IONQ today. No. So let's go back over to the desk, back to the desk, and see what Adair is up to.
Let's talk about these sectors. We'll start with what is weak because it's very clearly tech services. AppLovin down another 3%. This name took quite the tumble on day 2 earnings on Friday. This will be day 3. We're down another 3%. Palantir, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Oracle, Adobe, Accenture also weak. Mini SaaSmageddon perhaps, although ServiceNow, which is notably got hit really hard during the height of SaaSmageddon, actually up marginally today. Consumer durables weak across the board. GM had to pay like $12 million, relatively small, especially for GM, but they're still down today. So was Tesla. Consumer services to the downside as a group. Consumer non-durables, with the notable exception of some of these tobacco plays like PM and MO. Rest of these names are going to be to the downside. Health tech actually has some strength. Eli Lilly, largest component in the sector, up 4% today. Finance with a lot of green, producer manufacturing quite strong. Energy minerals, of course, quite strong as we evaluate news out of the Middle East. Utilities, industrial services. Electronic tech mostly strong here. You do have some weakness in Dell, which got actually a downgrade this morning from UBS, even after getting an endorsement from President Trump last week. Broadcom, SanDisk, Arista Networks all to the downside. NVIDIA does get a spotlight. They're up 2% today, and we just heard reports that Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, will not be coming to China with President Trump, and this report actually denies further earlier reports suggesting he was even invited in the first place. So Jensen Huang not invited and will not be going to Beijing with Trump. Back to you.
Yeah, ouch.
No invite for you.
Yeah, I don't think it's hurting him that much, but
I think.
Yeah, well, everyone has a little bit of an ego, I think. So I mean, yeah, maybe he's
I don't
none pleased, but he'll get over it.
I'm sure he'll look at the stock price. I mean, you know what?
I mean, who's made more money than Jensen today? I mean, how much is NVIDIA even up? It did pull back, though.
Nobody.
Right? Up 2%, yeah.
Well, if we're just talking about today, like there's 2%. No other big name that's as strong as NVIDIA, which is absolutely flying, just continues to rally. Look, ASTS asked its reports tonight. One thing that's crazy is, remember they were up a bajillion% because of Rocket Lab on Friday? Well, in sympathy to Rocket Lab, and then now another 10% today. So you're up 25%, close to 25% in a couple of sessions going into earnings, and now the breakout seems to be on here. This is going to be a wild one for tomorrow. As the where's my moon thing? The space name.
Yeah.
Like, this has been a crazy ride, and a lot of retail loving both of these names. Rocket Lab's another 11% here today. You know what? That is one trend break I had no interest in. These are entirely too strong. I am into battle.
We're collapsing.
But I gotta watch USO here, because USO, it's bouncing. It's already bouncing off VWAP. So it pulled back into VWAP. I didn't even get into this until that local high here on BATL. So it's going to be a pretty tight stop because it didn't make it to the actual HOD. And then IBIT, still not really doing much of anything. It was a bit of a scalp trade. Now you're just holding in the middle of the range. Ended up canceling the order to see what USO's next move is. If USO bounces off of VWAP, that's bad. And I think we head back into the lows, and I wait for that low of the day here on IBIT. So going to be determined, or I guess determination on this trade will be made by what happens next in USO instead of trying to rush. It's 10:47, so this is not the time of day to be getting in at random prices in the middle of a range.
Yeah, no, do not take random prices. We did good there with Palantir again, so we got reloaded, and there's your trade again for me of the day, Palantir. Just a bunch of shorts there. The trade of the day for me is Intel, but you know, this one right there, 135, 136 has been a good area here. And I don't know, like Palantir normally dances a little bit more than this, but we'll just keep on, reloading it, getting it out, and hopefully our last reload is one that we can carry all the way back into VWAP. No more after this. If we get 136 again, I'm just going to hold it for as long as we possibly can and see if we do get a downside play today in the market. It's been a pretty choppy futures trade today, right? I mean, upside all the way back into the open again, right back into day's high, through the opening trade again to the downside, made new lows, and now you're right back to the middle of the pack here. And essentially, we're above VWAP. We're not exactly at the middle, but Elon Musk.
Tesla did spike on.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. I mean, it's great to have Tesla and Elon doing these things. There goes the spike up there. I think we already know how huge of a market China is going to be and is right now for Tesla. So no surprising there that he's heading with the delegation over to China. I mean, Elon has a lot of good connections in China too. It's not like, President Trump bringing allies that are also allies of the Chinese is not a horrible idea at all. So I'm actually surprised Trump's I don't know, when is that visit happening? Isn't that this end of this week?
May 13th and 14th.
Right, end of this week. So that's a long trip over there.
Wednesday then.
Yeah, we'll see if Elon takes the rocket ship over there. Maybe it takes him a little bit less time to get there. He can have President Trump join him. Him and Katy Perry can go there with the orbit and just land in China there. But yeah, man, there it is. This is a good one, man. Get that face slapper going here again. 135.10, we're waiting for a bid to come in. Downside now, but there's the reload on Palantir. It's just been a back and forth day on some of these names today, and happy that you guys are joining us. Make sure you do hit that like and that subscribe. We're going to go to Adair, then we'll figure out what's getting inside of these tummies tonight for... Oh, is it already here?
You just spoiled it.
Come on, Sharif. Sharif's saying fried chicken. So I'm going to wait. We'll call it up. I hope that is what it is, because it's been hot fire the last couple times. Sharif a little upset there. If Sharif promises it, then I will take it for what it's worth. But we'll see. Now we just have to find out the interesting thing about what the flag is then. Okay, that would be the more important thing. But there it is, man. It's a dollar club again on Palantir as it breaks through 135. Let's see if it gets a little juicier. It's all about the money, though. And you can't have, wow, NVIDIA 220 days high, again, blasting higher. As Palantir goes lower, NVIDIA goes higher. Adair at the desk. What's up, girl?
Yeah, what's up is certainly not the U.S. dollar. Before we get to the DXY talk, I want to cover a couple headlines here. We've got more comments from President Trump to Fox. Nothing massive, but it is, just some comments here about Iran, saying that he will deal with Iran until they make a deal, and that the U.S. Navy guiding ships through the Strait of Hormuz would, quote, only be a piece of it when it comes to their plan here with that project, that Project Freedom. Also, we've got more comments on who's coming to China with Trump. CEOs of Visa and MasterCard will be going. This is now the third report I've seen suggesting that Kelly Ortberg of Boeing will be also going. And again, Elon Musk. So Jensen's out. Kelly is now, for the third report, apparently confirmed. We've also got Elon Musk and the CEOs of MasterCard and Visa. I already knew executives from MasterCard and Visa would be coming. Now we're hearing it's going to be CEOs of both companies. DXY, right now, kind of trading within the low range of the action we got on both Thursday and Friday. Those sessions were very much inside days. The today continues. Nothing super exciting about this price action. It is worth noting tomorrow morning, right at 8:30 a.m., you're going to be getting CPI and core CPI year over year and month over month. For core CPI year over year, 2.7% is the forecast versus 2.6% prior. Core CPI month over month forecast 0.3% versus 0.2% prior. CPI year over year 3.7% versus 3.3% prior, and CPI month over month 0.6% prior versus, 0.6% forecast versus 0.9% prior. So the non-core numbers are interesting. We're expecting an increase in CPI year over year and a decrease in CPI month over month. Here's the CME Fed Watch tool. We are still not seeing any rate cuts until past December 2027. December 2027, guys, we're still seeing a hold for now. Let's see if that changes after tomorrow's CPI print or Wednesday's PPI prints. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. And someone said NVIDIA wasn't at the all-time wasn't at the high. Well, it is now.
Oh, it is.
So that was a distinction with it. It might have not quite broken out, but it's broken out now. Now 3% fresh all-time highs. So no invite, no problem for NVIDIA. That's just how it goes. I didn't really think that story. Does it really matter? Like ultimately, Jensen has a great relationship in China. We know this. I don't think that's big of a deal.
Meta going to China as
Did
well.
jump out of, oh, Meta's going as well?
Not Zuckerberg, somebody else. I didn't recognize who it was.
Well, I mean, again, I don't know how big of a deal these are going to be. I get the Boeing spike when we had the Ortberg news. I get that makes more sense because, you know, getting extra orders. There's only two places you're ordering from, right? And China's a gigantic customer, so any favor to them over Airbus would be huge in any regard. But just very quickly, the only mean reversion that hasn't worked today was the battle one. But I did get in early. I said we should have been waiting for that high closer to 3, and there goes USO with the topping tail. So I'm willing to take another shot at this one, closer to the $3 level for sure. Silver's pretty much gonzo at this point. SLV, I should say, not silver. SLV. It's gone off the volume weighted average price, but there's still a chance that we get another shot at that long off of VWAP, and then one more for you. IBIT never retraced back into that low. That 45.5, but it is on the comeback trail.
Here's Joe with the super chat.
Big
3 fractional shares is because Joe's got all his money in the market here. Oh no, this is Big Rudy Smasher. My bad, Joe. How do you feel about Archer?
They reported yet?
I haven't never seen that show.
Archer's
I know. I've seen it before. I was just,
hilarious. That's one of the funniest. That and Rick and Morty are probably the two funniest animated shows.
What does Archer? Because I know Joby is the. Oh, it's like Joby. Okay, so I was going to say I know that Joby is the eVTOLs and everything like that. So Sharif's sort of in this game. He knows a lot about this. So all I ever hear about is Joby.
Here's my question. Which one has better or more military contracts? That's the one I would be.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know much about either one of them, but I would probably just pick the one that has more military contracts because I think that's the big future for these types.
Yeah, I mean, Joby's trying to go through. They're trying to get into New York, Manhattan. There, we talked about those eVTOLs flying back and forth over the Hudson, just making commute a little bit easier for the rich. But yeah, up to $11 breaking out. To me, Joby looks like the better play. Right now, just on a chart, ACHR. We will have a quick little look there. Sharif's already ruined the what's for lunch. Yeah, let me see here. Actually, this is not bad either. I mean, I'd like to see this one get through 750, but not knowing the financials of either one of these companies, I just think technically Joby looks a little bit better for the breakout. It's been holding the levels. This has been a falling sword right there. More of like a little knife, actually. It's maybe of a switchblade down to the downside there. Holding the 50 period at 6 looks really good. You got a nice little jump up off there last weekend. So I think you might be onto something there with your Archer Aviation play. Okay, so all right, Sharif, here we go. Today's meal.
What could it possibly be?
I gotta.
What are we gonna eat
I
today
don't know.
for
I don't know. But it is a U.S. flag.
Oh, U.S. flag. Usually.
Yeah, U.S. flag. So normally, sometimes it's like it could be. Maybe it's grilled cheese. I mean, a very popular U.S. It could be hamburger. It could even be. We did get some hot dogs. It looks like with breakfast today.
That's becoming a little bit.
Those sausage hot dogs, they're coming through. Another great American dish. You always something with French fries maybe on the side. What else is? I thought ribs. Like ribs is a good
I had ribs
U.S.
last night.
Yeah, that's a good U.S. We had steak last night. Oh boy.
When mom votes for
yeah, Marissa. So last night we had shrimp, calamari, and steak. Ooh. So it was a big one there for Mother's Day. We grilled that all up. We weren't home till 7:30, so had to get the grill going a little late last night off of baseball. But yeah, you guys are right,
What's
man.
our sides at least, maybe?
It's buttermilk fried chicken. So there it is. We'll have that today. So thank you that. With a side, Neil?
Of?
Mac and cheese. So there we go, Sharif. Too many carbs for Sharif. He not liking this one over there, man. Sharif gonna have those
protein.
Get those protein shakes. What side of protein shake? Oh, here it is. Okay, so Sharif's pretty happy with that one. We do have seasonal veg on the side. You down with vegetables, Sharif? Yeah, he's down with vegetables. Okay, so vegetables is fine over there. We actually talked about Sharif on Friday, and I remember.
I'm gonna eat this so fast.
The quote from Sharif, and I think this is right, eats for function, right? So there you go. So I quoted him on Friday. I wanted to make sure I got that correct right there.
I'm eating for fun today.
Yeah, fun and function. Yeah, same. Hey, man, you can't have function without fun.
You can't function without the fun.
There we go. We made something up there as well. And then, of course, your garden salad wraps it up on what's for lunch. It should be a good one today, man, whenever you got something there. So food is energy. That is very correct. We learn about that real early in life. All right, so Amazon does come in. We do touch this out at the 200 period moving average. I was going to sit here for a reload. I was more, you know what, all right, I'll take a little bit here. I was at 75 and didn't take it. We'll offer it now. I actually just offered 76s. Let's punch a little lower and make sure we get some shares. I'm still at 72. So I wanted to wait into there. It is a retrace back up into VWAP. And the market went for a little bit of a ride. We'll average into this. Bigger position coming at 72. NVIDIA right there, Neil, 222.19. Oops, and NVDA. Might as well put an extra N in front of that one. NVDA right there. Oh boy, man, count your chickens right now because they're hatching everywhere. It is NVIDIA taking out all-time high levels. The $1 trillion club just getting bigger and bigger, man. You know what? They said, ha, Google, you're coming for us. There's 3% up one way for NVIDIA, 2% down the other way there for Google as Jensen buys up all of his shares to make sure that Google does not surpass NVIDIA. So there it goes, man. Shout out to everybody on both of those names. It's been a huge ride.
Well, they're both fantastic.
Both those
companies.
names, yeah.
Realistically, if you're thinking of like, Google's Alphabet's got that gigantic mode. Joe calls it an ETF. And the reason for that is just simply they have a little bit of everything. You get exposure across the board. Like when you own Alphabet, you get to not own Netflix, let's just say, because YouTube wins, right? You get to own quantum when you own Alphabet. You get to own data centers. You get to own now custom chips, which could be the next big wave for them as well. You just get a little bit of everything when it comes to Alphabet. And quickly, a quickie boy, thank you for the super chat. EOSC, now if memory serves, there was something about these guys last year, like this candle was some sort of like fraud investigation or something bad. Something I remember along those lines, clean energy name, but it's breaking out today. They did get an investment from, I think it was like New Jersey's retirement fund, whatever, like one of those. Okay. So that's a big vote of confidence. So anytime you have a big news event dump, it could be earnings, it could be short seller report, whatever it is, you look at some of those levels, like 990, at the bottom where it flat bottom broke, and then like 11.5 here, and then both those become significant levels on the way back up. So good breakout for it today. Just remember that 990 to 10 area when it had, I think it was some sort of fraud investigation or whatever it was. It was a pretty big negative story for them at the end of last year, and that level's about 990 to 10, so it's got room into there. It is 11. The next trade I'm looking for is going to be the next shot into IBIT. Maybe it holds VWAP and double bottoms here at 45.5. But if we're making lower highs, the market's about to get to the top. Again, the highs. And if we're holding lower, if we're going to hold there and IBIT's going to hold VWAP, I'll probably go to BMNR. Bit of a head and shoulders type play on the session. Also play off of the volume weighted average price for a short. Well, you know we're going to be enjoying some fried chicken today.
Yes.
You know we're going to be having fun with it. I'm willing to bet that by the time we come to noon for the lesson of the day, there should not be any chicken on my plate. If there is...
There will not be.
No, but the only way that would be true is if it's late.
Which it's not.
It's already here?
That's how Sharif knows.
Oh, I thought he looked at the email. I know it was already here.
No.
Oh, I'm going to be done that in like 15.
He tried to grab some early
That's going to be
protein.
done at like 11:15. I didn't realize it was already sitting here. Yeah, I'm going to eat this now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's only way is if it's undercooked, I guess. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Like if for some reason, which it won't be.
It'll be great.
I mean, and I'll probably eat one anyways, even if it is undercooked.
All right, good trading. A couple positive traders on this side and a couple positive guys. And we'll see what they're trading
chicken,
over on that side. Yeah, he's getting ready for the mac and cheese today. See everybody. We'll be back at 2 p.m. Thanks to Derek for all your coverage today. Thanks everybody for working with us. Stay late with these guys, man. 11 to 2 o'clock. It's the midday. Go get them, boys.